shotglassdigital.com.
This is what you can look forward to on our very big, comprehensive Force Awakens coverage episode 104 of Skywalking Through Neverland. Now, how cute is BB-8?
BB-8, you definitely had the cute factor, and he's adorbs.
Oh my goodness.
Wristbands. I'm going to take a picture of our wristbands because these are like gold today.
How? Has this sunken in yet? We're going to see it today.
We did it!
Look at him! Oh, BB-8 is so cute! Oh, BB-8!
Do you have a favorite part?
I have two favorite parts.
And
Yes?
what were they?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Listen.
A billion years in the making.
Up to Neverland!
What do you know?
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss $3 goodbye.
We've been talking about doing this episode since we started Skywalking Through Neverland over 2 years ago, and now it's here, The Force Awakens. And there is so much we want to tell you. Hey, but first, let's open up the show with our classic line. Hey, Skywalkers! Thank you so much for coming back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
And welcome to any and all new Skywalkers out there. If this is the first time you're listening to us, we are the family-friendly Star Wars Disney podcast that brings you entertaining stories from creators and fans, and boy, do we have that today. This is Richard, and please, everyone, say hello to my sweetie wife, Sarah, who I finally got to see a Star Wars movie with in the theater for the first time.
Oh, yay. It was both our first time viewing, both our first Star Wars movie to see together in the theater. What an experience.
What an experience it was. And, first there's the meeting, there's the dating, there's getting married, and for every Star Wars relationship, you got to see a new Star Wars film in the theater for the first time together.
Aww.
Now we're an official couple.
And what a movie to see together, and what a environment to see it in. Because, well, should we spoil it a little bit? We got to see it at the world premiere
Last Monday night.
on the 14th, December 14th.
Yeah, the red carpet.
Wow. All right, but we'll go into all that. We want to tell you all about this, Skywalkers, and I know a lot of you are anxious to hear it. Well, before we get into that, though, I want to thank everyone for supporting this show throughout all of social media. You know us, we love to tweet at you, and we love it when you tweet at us. So please do that while you're listening at Skywalking Pod, and you will be officially a tweet walker. And of course, if you're listening to this show, you are already a Skywalker. So welcome, Skywalkers.
And Instagram, too. I'm just getting myself in there because I can now Instagram.
That's right. So Instagram at Skywalking Pod. Have you checked your Instagram lately?
What? I
There's
post.
do
you have to check it, too?
Yeah, there's some fun comments. I'll have to share with you.
All right, but can't right now because we have a big show to do.
Yes.
Now, we are recording this from Long Beach. Hey, we're finally home. We were in Wisconsin, we were in Hollywood, but now we're recording from our home in Long Beach, California on December 19th, 2015, the day after.
Yes.
Now, just before we did start recording this episode, we did an interview with CTV News from Toronto, who asked us about seeing The Force Awakens, our fandom, and how I proposed to you using my favorite astromech wingman, R2-D2.
Oh, now, is that going to change with BB-8?
My favorite wingman?
Uh-huh.
You know what? You're right. I think as big of a babe magnet as R2 is, I think BB-8 would even trump a puppy.
I think he does. I think he does.
Should we hashtag that?
Trump a puppy? Well, what I love about BB-8, and we've seen and petted the real version.
Yeah, we did.
You cannot take a good picture standing up next to BB-8. You actually have to sit down next to him.
Yeah, he comes up to
and
your
cuddle
knees.
him. Yes, yes, it's so adorable. Oh my gosh!
But you know what? If they send us that clip from CTV in Toronto, we can play it next week along with some other shows we were on because people keep tweeting at us that they see us on Good Morning America today.
GMA.
Inside Edition.
And in Australia, they're Today
Australia.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Japan, we were all over that news.
Yes, Japan.
I think we were even on an episode of Housewives of Long Beach. I don't know how that happened, but we ended up there somehow.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And I know folks at liningup.net also have been seen by 1 billion people around the world.
Good for them. Good
Yes,
for them. With
that's
all they do
amazing.
for raising money for Starlight Children's Foundation. Good. You know what? Good for them.
Yes.
Now, coming up on today's very special episode, which we've been leading up to since our first episode
September
of 2013. We've been leading up to this very, very show, and we're going to share with you, all of our Skywalking family, the comprehensive experience that led up to
The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm. We have line reports. We'll talk about the world premiere.
Yes, the red carpet experience, and even the after party. Oh.
Which was a whole surprise to us that day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then after our first screening, after our third screening,
which on the 17th.
the 17th, which was the first really real screening
For the public.
For the public, we did a roundtable discussion, which helped us organize our thoughts.
Yeah, and we have so many Skywalkers and people jumping in to share their thoughts. It was great.
Now, I think, can I be so bold as to say that this episode is going to be a good capper for everything that has been surrounding the events of The Force Awakens. Everything you need is right in this episode.
Okay.
Now that the 3-year wait is over, I'm kind of sad saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So how are we feeling now that
Okay.
it's now behind us?
Well, should I start? Because, okay, so for me, I'm still excited because I think I don't have any separation anxiety or anything because I know there's more coming. So, this only fuels my fire. I know that next year there's going to be Rogue One, and the year after that there's going to be another, in what? A year and a half.
We'll have episode 8.
You'll have episode 8. So for me, I just feel even more excited. And with Fangirls Going Rogue going off on its own feed, I'm actually super excited to talk with my girlfriends about Rey and everything that's happening there. And I think we chose a great moment to get on our own feed and our own website. So for that aspect, I'm really excited. I just got The Force Awakens set Disney Infinity in the mail, so I'm excited to play that. So for me, I'm still in excited mode. I haven't disconnected at all.
Now, for me, I do feel a little bit of the separation anxiety because I love hype. I know
Okay.
a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's too much Star Wars." Meh. I love hype, and that's now that the hype is really. Well, I know we're going to be seeing a whole lot more coming up.
Yes.
But the whole build-up to The Force Awakens, where we see all the stars on all the shows,
Uh-huh.
all the live events surrounding the premieres. Unfortunately, that is now
It's gonna die down.
Past.
See, for me, it hasn't died down because I'm waiting for all the news reports of all the money that this movie's gonna
Right.
make.
Well, now we're talking about two different things because you're looking forward, and
Yes.
I'm speaking about just the hype of the movie, the countdown,
Yeah.
everything we had to do to prepare.
But
and-
I'm saying, there's new countdowns
I
coming.
know. Believe me, I'm not. For me, once again, I love the hype. I love the build-up
Anticipation.
and anticipation. I love that.
Yes.
And one more day brings us closer, but one less day of
Yeah.
excitement and build-up. And I love walking into a store and seeing all these new displays.
Yeah.
Just walking to a grocery store, we're seeing new displays for food and for dairy items and
I
for
think-
apples,
I
and
think
oranges.
I think once all that starts disappearing, then I'll be a little like, oh.
See, that's yeah.
But right now, it's still all there.
See, now I think I'm going from past experiences.
Yes. Okay.
From 6 other movies.
Okay.
And once the movie has
Come out.
and it's out there, then everyone's on to the next big Hollywood film. Like right now, we're all talking about Captain America: Civil War and
Right.
Batman versus Superman, and
Right.
I starting to see that seep into the pop culture domain.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little bit of that. Oh, come back, Force Awakens, come back.
You know what? Just listen to a bunch of podcast episodes about
Yeah.
The Force Awakens.
So I'm glad we're talking about this because I just realized, because I've seen this come and go 6 times.
Yes.
I know how sad I get when
Oh.
other things start, when I start seeing billboards being taken down and we see something else
Okay.
going up.
But see, it hasn't happened yet. So enjoy this moment while it lasts.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
I haven't gotten 3 hours of sleep this last 2 weeks because I've been soaking it all in.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to cover on today's episode, that we really did want to soak in every single offering that
yes.
The Force Awakens had.
I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience and moment in time.
Very much so. Very much so. Since we've been waiting for this for not just 3 years since Disney bought Lucasfilm, but 10 years since Revenge of the Sith, and 38 years since we saw Star Wars. We just wanted the saga to keep on going and going and going.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying the moment in time.
Good.
And I know once the billboards start coming down, it'll only be so long before the Rogue One billboard goes up.
Yes.
So knowing that is helping me through this.
Good.
So this is a good therapy episode.
Okay, good. Well, let's think. What are some of our best moments of this whole experience?
Well, like we always say, making friends.
Yes.
Making new friends, seeing old friends.
It really is
connecting.
about the fan community and the friend. Star Wars friends are the best.
Yeah, because there's never a lulling conversation. Mm-hmm. You can bring up Ugnaughts or Sarlaccs or Hoojibs, and everyone's right there with you.
Oh, yes.
Like in the interview we just did on CTV Toronto, we ended it with Neverland on Alderaan, and
they were like, "What? What?
Who's Alderaan?"
That was so funny.
Yeah, so there's none of that with all of our friends.
No.
And we get to share the experiences and who waited in what line and how many jobs they've lost because of the sacrifices they've made. It's just been tremendous seeing everyone that we really just get to talk to every once in a great while or see their pictures on Facebook. And now it's hanging out with them day in and day out.
Yeah. Well, that's why Periscope is fun too, because I know a lot of our Skywalkers tune in to our Periscope feeds. And so from the red carpet of the world premiere, we Periscoped, even though our fingers were frozen. And we got to, it's so nice seeing your comments pop up on that feed. And I know there was over 1,000 viewers who tuned in to that Periscope.
Yeah, we were trying to read all the comments and the names, but the names are so faint on Periscope and they're so small.
You needed your glasses.
I think they would have frozen to my head.
It's true.
So if you did watch us through Periscope and I didn't mention your name, I'm sorry, but it wasn't for lack of trying.
But we love all your comments, and that was really fun, and we could bring you Skywalkers with us.
So now what was your favorite moment out of this whole circus that it was the Force Awakens build-up? Was it the world premiere on Monday, the red carpet also on Monday? Was it just lining up with everybody? Was it the first screening on Thursday at 7 o'clock?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
this is asking a lot.
You know what? While you're thinking of that,
yes,
I can say that seeing that first screening at 7 o'clock on Friday the 17th, when we'd already seen it a couple of times, we had a chance to soak it all in and process it. Mm-hmm. And now we were anticipating what the audience was, what they were going to react to. Yeah. And that was so much fun because we knew all the moments coming up. It's like, okay, listen to everyone. Who's gasping, who's crying, who's laughing.
Plus, that theater, we had great seats that time.
Yeah.
And
thanks once again to liningup.net.
Yeah, and it was amazing, and the sound and the picture, and everyone was just so immersed. It was like we were all one watching it.
Yeah. And it was great that we were with a lot of close family and friends. Your parents were there. Mm-hmm. My best friend Dave Scale, the Skywalking to Neverland ghost host and Rebel Spy, and behind me was my Talking Apes TV co-host Mark Gushewitz, and next to him was my very good friend Matt Baird, who I have a lot of Star Wars experiences to share with. And he and I saw The Phantom Menace back in '99, and Matt's one of these guys who just gets excited over everything.
So you heard him gasp.
I heard him gasp. I heard him laugh. When Matt laughs, they can put Jabba the Hutt bellowing giggles to shame. Is that a hashtag? Bellowing giggles?
I don't know. It doesn't have quite a ring to it.
You know what? I just like saying hashtags. It makes me sound like I know what I'm talking
about. Not numbers?
That inside joke was provided by Sarah to her good friend Trisha Barr.
Yes.
Now back to Skywalking to Neverland.
So that was your favorite moment, seeing it?
Yeah, seeing it with all the fans and listening to their reactions.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And of course, you can't forget about seeing Dave Filoni in line.
Yeah, well, okay, so my favorite moments, I think.
Okay.
I mean, nothing really beats that. The VIP after party was really amazing. And the fact that, like, through our podcast, we've talked to so many people involved in Star Wars, and we've show up at so many events that, you know, we recognize people recognize us. So the fact that we were able to say, hey, David Collins, you know, it's nice to see you again. And Dave Filoni recognized us. And
he came right over to us.
Yeah. And then he asked me, because I had just bought the Boba Fett, her universe jacket from Hot Topic.
Merry Christmas.
On the 14th, because it was freezing and I needed an extra layer. So I was wearing that to the after party, and Dave Filoni comes up and he goes, hey, is that her universe? I was like, oh, yes, it is. He's like, good job. It was really funny.
They're always supporting each
Yeah.
other.
So I just want to say, like, just the family of fans, once again, is what keeps coming back to me, is the best part of Star Wars. And so it's just so fun to connect and see people, and all the, like, Levant Dominguez, some of the people we know over Twitter and Facebook that were at that night too. It's just amazing experience.
I can keep looking back and name 100 more moments, but when Dave Filoni came over to us, he came over to us in line.
While we were waiting outside in the cold.
Yeah, that Monday for the red carpet. He came over to us, and because he recognized the Skywalking Through Neverland sweatshirt that we were wearing.
Yeah. He's like, oh, hey, guys. And we say, hey, we saved a place for you here. He's like, oh, I'm covered. That's funny.
And then later on, just seeing that first screening with Vanessa Marshall.
Yeah.
So it's great that the Star Wars...
She's so excited about it, too. So.
In-universe family are now joining the fans as well. So now it really is one big collective.
Yeah, because fans are creating the saga. Fans are invested in the saga. So it's one big family.
It really is representative of the Force.
Yep.
We just flow through each other.
Oh, man. Yes, we do. Okay.
All right. Now, before we get into more extensive coverage on The Force Awakens, let's ease into things with the Star Wars Christmas parody song by Chris Hardwick and James Corden, who paid tribute to Star Wars and us fans who were waiting in line.
Star Wars fans outside the Cineplex, lining up 1 week to wait.
So that's nice.
Thrilled to see all the brand new effects, but most of all, meet BB-8.
As the saying goes, do or do not, there is no try. And dark side Jedi are the words.
Jedi is the plural of Jedi, yes.
To kids out there watching for the first time, you should know that Han shot first.
We're trading spoilers, we just can't resist.
That's right. It's all more thrilling than when Han and Leia kissed.
And every nerd will burst with all the feels.
Squeak. To hear the dark side, the Jedi, they are real.
And so we're offering this simple phrase.
For whom, James?
For fans from Endor to Naboo.
Amen.
Although it's been said many times, many ways, may the Force be, may the Force be, may the Force be with you. I love you. Chris Hardwick, everybody, we'll be right back.
Okay, so we want to tell you all about our Force Awakens World Premiere experience because I know many of you have been asking. So here it goes. The most fun of this is the build-up. So the call came in on the night of Saturday, December 12th, that if we wanted to be at the Force Awakens World Premiere red carpet in the bleachers, we had to be there at 6 a.m. So we kind of looked at each other. Took us about, 10 seconds to decide?
No,
Yeah.
that's a tenth of a second.
Okay. Well, I know you were like hemming and hawing, and I was like, no, we should do it. Right? Or were you on the fence?
Well, you know what? We were getting ready for a job.
Yes.
And this call came in like seconds before we were about to walk into a job.
Uh-huh.
And like, how do you process this?
Yeah.
Because this was not on our radar whatsoever.
No. And this once again was only for bleachers to the red carpet. That's what this was going to be.
And it was open to the people waiting in line from liningup.net.
Yes. So we just had to give them our names, and so they put us on the special list.
Yeah. It did take a little bit to go, wait a minute, who's this and what you're asking about the red carpet for us? Really?
Yeah. It was exciting. So we put our names on the list, and we said, all right, we're going to wake up at 4 so we can get there at 6.
Like I said before, I think one part of us was like, 6 a.m. You know what? This is such a crazy week. It was just hard to
Can we take a full
process.
day off?
But yet, like we were saying earlier, we just wanted to soak in everything because you know as well as I do, if we did not do it, we would be regretting it for the rest of our lives.
Yes. And knowing how it turned out, yep.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would. So that was the main thing there. Just soak it all in, worry about it later.
Yep.
So now with all that being said, here is our coverage as we waited in the hot-like temperatures of Hollywood, California. That Monday, December 14th.
Yeah, it was really all about the gusty winds.
Yeah, we were in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
But in this clip that we're going to run, well, more of a clip, in this coverage that we're about to hear, we even hear the news firsthand from Sean Crosby that we're going to be let in to see The Force Awakens at the world premiere. Okay, here's an update of, what day is this today? I've already lost track, the 14th. Okay, it's the 14th, it's Monday, and we're all sitting here waiting for The Force Awakens red carpet premiere. I'm sorry, your name once again?
My name is Paul Lewis Harrell.
All right, where are we here?
We're here on Hollywood Boulevard on the south side, waiting right at the entrance for the Star Wars Force Awakens World Premiere.
All right, and what time did we all get here this morning?
This morning we woke up on the Chinese Theater forecourt at around 6 o'clock a.m.
All right, now just because I've been reprimanded, it's TCL Chinese Theater, yes.
Allow me to save my bacon. That would be the TCL Chinese Theater.
All right, we're also here with
Eve.
Who's wearing a very sporty BB-8 knitted hat.
Yes, a lovely woman named Mickey made them. Like Mickey Crochet, I think is what you Google. I don't know. She's great, though. Look them up.
So we were told to be here at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. sharp.
And what happened from there? Tell us. Run us down.
So we got here at 6 a.m. sharp. And once we got here at 6 a.m. sharp, we waited in front of the TCL Chinese Theater and waited. And then we were told, well, we'll be getting there between 6 and 7, or we'll be picked up between 6 and 7 to go to the next location of whatever we're doing. And then I think we probably left around 7:30 was when someone finally showed up. Yeah. And then we walked all the way down to La Brea and crossed the street. And now we are on, because everything's blocked off. And now we are currently in a small little pen. Are we calling it a pen? A corral. Yeah. Corral. And
I just felt like we're penned up tauntauns over here. I think it's colder here than it is on Hoth.
I would say that is an incredibly accurate statement, and in no way is that even slightly an exaggeration.
All right. So we were carted through the metal detectors, all 15 of them. We gotta have our spot right here.
4 now. We only had 1 metal detector. It took much longer, but then again, I was at the front of the line, and I can't complain.
Yeah, heaven forbid you should walk away. You have to walk through at least 15 to 20 more metal detectors to get back here.
They started recognizing me when I go back for like a food break or something because there's so many around. The guys on the street, because they've got people scanning you with like security metal detecting wands like every 20 yards on up and down Hollywood Boulevard, which is good. Like I think that's a good security measure. But they started recognizing me now, so they don't even scan me anymore. Yeah, no, I guess not.
All right, so tell us what we're looking at over here.
We're looking at the entrance to this very, very long It's like a corridor. It's like the Oscars, but this is actually the largest. This is actually the largest premiere of all time.
Really?
The first time where the Dolby Theater, the El Capitan, and the TCL Chinese Theater, excuse me, see, I almost did it again, see? Right. Teamed up to basically seat that. So there's actually 5,000 seats available for this premiere screening tonight. And this is the most money they've ever spent on any premiere of all time. It's going to be broadcast all the way around the world, real time. I think at the Star Wars premiere website, something like that.
I didn't look up what the streaming was because I was going to be here.
It's out there, guys. Just look for it. You're not going to miss it.
Google Star Wars premiere live stream, and then you've got it.
That's right, live stream. That's correct.
Okay, so now right here we're looking. Oh, look at this! They're setting up like 25-foot lightsabers.
I would argue that that's a 30-foot lightsaber.
Let's say 27.5.
27.5-foot lightsaber, and this is before the light / saber part is even part of it. This is just the handle, the hilt of the lightsaber. And now one on either side. On the left, flanking the entrance, we have Kylo Ren's lightsaber hilt, and on the right, tri-saber. And on the right, we have what we're supposing is going to be fins, but some have been speculating that it is
spoiler.
Anakin / Luke.
Spoiler alert, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, so this is the entrance
One trailer shows you what fins
to the 3-block long corridor that goes all the way to the El Capitan where the premiere is going to be held.
The corridor runs all the way from Sycamore all the way down Hollywood Boulevard and to Highland. And if you go to the WorldCam webcam, you'll be able to see this long corridor from the outside. You're going to have helicopters looking down. They got Star Wars on the top of this long corridor tent. It's amazing, really.
Now, I am not a sports fan whatsoever. Now, for the sports fans out there, would you say this is the length of 1 football field, 2 football fields, a Star Destroyer?
More close to the length of a Star Destroyer.
Okay, yeah, that's more my language.
I would say it's more the, if you're familiar with Mel Brooks' Spaceballs, the obnoxiously long entrance of the initial Imperial ship. That is what this looks like. If it is in any way shorter than that, I will eat the beanie on my head. It is definitely that long.
It is. Now, we're looking at a group of people over here in suits. They look pretty important. Not sure who they are, but they're all in a huddle.
I'm pretty sure they're head of security. Actually, we just took a little break over at Mel's Diner at Hollywood and Highland, and we saw a couple of the guys over there enjoying their calm before the storm. So,
now, how long have you two been waiting in line for? This started on December the 5th. How long have you been waiting?
Actually, not that long for me, just as of last Saturday. And I've been coming in and out as well. I wish I'd found out about the entire event sooner, but yeah, that's what I've been doing.
So were you here when Anthony Daniels made an appearance?
I was not here for Anthony Daniels, but I was here for Ray Park, and nice. That was incredible.
Did you speak to him?
Yeah, I did, but what I didn't get to do that a lot of other people did was have a lightsaber battle against him, and that was incredible. It was unreal. He had all his moves down. He was twirling it, showing everyone up. He fought kids, which is a sentence I realize retroactively doesn't sound good, but he let kids win and slice them in half, and it was great. So.
Oh, nice. Now, did you meet anyone?
I did, actually. I'm a street performer on Hollywood Boulevard. I cosplay as Iron Man and street perform as Iron Man. One morning early, we got out to go work, and a friend of mine, Sean Calhoun, and I, which Sean does Chewbacca also, and we bumped into the people at Omaze who do charity for Force for Change. That's correct. We went out and did a little bit with Mark Hamill dressed as a stormtrooper, and I was the Iron Man in the little video there where he goes, "Are you C-3PO?" And I'm like PFFFT.
Now, was that prearranged or was that improv?
Absolutely, that was absolutely prearranged. I'm a SAG actor, and I signed it. You know, the little the actor's waiver form, and basically said, "Hey, do this for charity and meet Mark Hamill," and yeah. And in addition to that, a couple nights ago, I was actually street performing further down in front of the Dolby Theater. A really awesome C-3PO comes through, and he was like a sound-alike for Anthony Daniels. I think he was an official performer for Disney. It wasn't Anthony Daniels, but it was the C-3PO who actually had his left arm is red, as in seen on the movie poster. So right. I didn't spoil too much for you people, except for the guys who have been not looking at the poster. Sorry.
Oh, that must have been really fun to do. Did you meet anyone else from The Force Awakens? Did they have anyone else behind the scenes?
No, I haven't met anybody else besides that. But you know what? If that's all I get, I'm a happy camper. I got to be a little part of Star Wars history and got to meet Mark Hamill. So hey.
Now, is the rumor true that he's the nicest person on the planet?
Yep.
Now, earlier on, we had seen Dave Filoni, the creative director behind the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Were you here for that?
I was not, unfortunately.
Yeah, we saw him because, well, he had the hat on. He came over here and talked to us. He didn't recognize the Skywalking to Neverland sweatshirt and came over to say a few words to us. And I was very happy that he recognized us because he meets a billion people a day, I'm sure. And the fact that he came over to us makes me very, very happy. It's like, you know what? This fan community just grows tighter and tighter. All right, now, when do you plan on seeing The Force Awakens?
As soon as I can. As of right now, I have a ticket for the 7 p.m. show on Thursday night with the lineup for Star Wars Episode 7 with the Starlight Foundation, which is definitely Google that. And so, yeah, I'm going then, unless I get the chance to see it sooner.
How about yourself?
Yeah, the 17th at the TCL Chinese Theater in glorious IMAX Lazer 3D, one of the only 5 Lazer 3D. It's only the Chinese theater is actually 1 out of 5 in the world who has IMAX 3D laser. The quote-unquote laser.
Yeah, with lasers, yeah. The Universal City Walk apparently also has one, and what's been told to us is that not only was the movie shot in IMAX cameras, therefore optimized for it, but that apparently everyone who worked on it said that like the best way to see it is in IMAX Laser 3D. So,
well, so this is all worth it. Waiting in this freezing temperature and just soaking in everything that is The Force Awakens this week. Because like I've been saying, this is like our Hanukkah. It's 8 crazy days of Star Wars. And even though Sarah and I were kind of debating at 4 in the morning whether or not we want to go, we thought we have to go because we didn't, we would regret it. Who is beeping? Now,
you're beeping at me. That's R2D2. I'm sorry. R2. Thank you.
Everyone's probably wondering where Sarah is. Well, she's down here. She's making this great sign that says, "The fans awaken. Come say hi." That way we can flash it to all the stars and all the crew that come by here on the red carpet. So they will come over here and say hello, and we can shove the microphone politely in their face. Yes. All right, Sarah, do you want to give us an update on your sign that's being colored in on this neon pink? No one's going to miss that. No one's going to miss this neon pink sign. You want to give us an update?
It's almost done. I have a gold pen here, so I'm highlighting everything. And now I need suggestions as to any pictures you want on the side.
Oh, BB-8.
BB-8, okay.
Do a BB-8. Yeah, so Sarah, she's been screaming these last couple of days, so her voice is gone. So I'm going to take over the helm here. But Sarah, if you have anything to add, please let me know, okay? Now, just earlier we were interviewed by, what was that, Inside Edition? Yeah. Access Hollywood Inside Edition. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see that. And if any Skywalkers do see that, please let us know. All right. So is there anything else we wanna add? Anything? Oh, hey, Sean. You know what? We're doing an update here. Do you wanna? Oh, Sean Crosby, everybody. Want to give us an update?
How's it going, eh? Yeah. On which part of it? There's so much going on here. What do you want to know?
Anything that we haven't heard, because you're on the inside. So what might not we know?
What might not you know? About the event in general, we're cold, which you know. You're living that. 501st and Rebel Legion are joining us at 2:30. They are apparently taking these bleachers across the street here, so they get the fancy schmancy warm butt seats, as opposed to the cement that we're in right now. I don't know. I'm just sort of trying to figure out what's going on in terms of us, because we thought we were going to be in very different surroundings. And so I kind of want to make sure that we take advantage of all the opportunities that we get. But I don't know what those are yet. So I'm going to meet with Disney and we're going to figure it out.
So any inside word on who we're going to see here on the red carpet?
As I understand it, everybody in the film is going to be here. And we've already had Tony Daniels sneak down to the line. Somebody said that Oscar Isaacs was wandering around yesterday, although I didn't stay late enough to see him if he came by. We've had people who I just got contacted by Extra, and John Boyega is going to be on their show at noon before he comes here. So honestly, I imagine that you know, take a look at the main poster. If you see their face on it, they're coming down. So
what you're saying is no Mark Hamill.
I fully expect Mark Hamill to be here. I just did 2 lightsaber training things with him at the Children's Hospital of Orange County and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. He was in really good spirits. He was really excited about stuff. He obviously lives locally. Even though he's not on the poster, we know he's in the movie, so I can't imagine he won't be here.
So if we drop your name, do you think he'll come on over and say hello?
I don't know. And see, the thing is I don't know if he knows me as Sean Crosby or Obi-Sean or what. But we did have a tremendous time. And in fact, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles put a terrific video together of his visit and him dealing with the kids. The man is kind and generous and a master. And honestly, I think if you just wave hard enough, he'll come over, say hi, give you a high five.
Oh, nice. Now, you've been talking to Disney and Lucasfilm. Oh, and that's when your phone rings. Is that Disney or Lucasfilm? Okay, hold on. Obi-Sean is taking a call. We think it might be Disney or it might be Lucasfilm. Let's listen in. Oh, he's giving us the thumbs up. All right, there's some news coming down the pike.
The Force is with him right now, literally.
Okay, he's walking away from us, which means he doesn't want us listening in on his conversation.
Hopefully he's going to go meet someone.
This.
At the very least, we would like access to the TCL Chinese Theater. I believe is the first request to be able to get chairs.
And right now it is very windy, and the set pieces are being blown apart.
Wow, look at that. Look, that one's completely... There's some kind of tower of lights.
Oh my goodness.
Kylo Ren's lightsaber
that's
about to fall over.
That big light pole behind Kylo Ren's lightsaber almost fell over.
Yeah.
It's a good thing those guys are union.
All right, sorry, Disney, I got to go talk to him.
Okay. Then come back and let us know. Oh, all right, he's gone.
There he's gone. They're installing more buttons on the lightsabers. It looks incredibly awesome. These are just basically a giant lightsaber dream. There's a tiny little Kylo Ren lightsaber over there. My guess is they're using it as a model or playing with in their free time. I don't know which.
They don't have much of.
I'm going to ask if we can play with it as soon as someone comes over here because that'd be great. So that's about all
Yeah,
we see.
security is pretty tight around here. I mean, literally, Hollywood Blvd is on lockdown. They're not letting even people who want to go to work, people who want to pass on through, they're not letting anyone through unless they empty all their pockets.
There's wand security people every 20 yards. It's incredible.
All right, so have there been any surprises or anything that you weren't expecting to see here? Anything that kind of blew?
Giant lightsabers?
Yes.
That was incredibly awesome. We got they blasted the music last night. They were doing a sound check or something like that, so all of a sudden you get the Imperial March just blasting out of nowhere as we were just kind of chilling in line, that was pretty awesome. The lights look really cool. As for surprises, I don't know why I didn't think it would be this big, but it is.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Dave Filoni, the stars. I didn't expect. And here we have Chewbacca himself. Hey, Chewie.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right. So, Sean, what is your name?
Chewbacca, Sean Calhoun, yes.
And where have we seen you as Chewbacca?
The Omaze with Mark Hamill, the Omaze video that came out about a week ago.
And what was your part for those who haven't seen it?
I was Chewbacca standing talking to Mark Hamill. He comes up, and I did my little Wookiee cry.
Now, you weren't the Chewbacca that was on Jimmy Kimmel a few weeks ago.
I was not, no. I have, but no, not that time. Most definitely not.
We know Jimmy Kimmel comes out here quite often and taps the performers. Has he ever gotten you to do a sketch?
No, nothing that I ever showed, so no.
Well, tell us about it.
I have pictures and everything with him talking about it, so.
With Jimmy Kimmel?
With Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
Okay. But now tell us about working with Mark Hamill.
Oh, it was fantastic. I was on set for about 3 hours, and I was walking behind the camera a lot because they wanted to get the perfect shot for me and stuff. It was fantastic. Really nice guy. One of the best experiences of my life, absolutely.
Yeah. Was that the crowning achievement of your fandom experience?
My fandom, absolutely. Like, Mark Hamill is just such an amazing, nice, fantastic person. Never expected anything less, but lived up to everything I've ever imagined.
Now, he was walking around and talking. Did anyone have a clue it was Mark Hamill in there?
A few of us absolutely did. He was very obvious to some of us, and then others just had no clue. As Paul, Iron Man, and myself, Chewbacca, both knew that he was Mark Hamill.
So now, did they grab you guys out here, or did they call you ahead of time to plan this out?
I was one of the few that they let know a little bit in advance, so I actually got to go put on my costume, come back out, and work with them for a few hours. Others, they just randomly picked up off the street. Paul came up and, you know, talked to them, and then they offered him a spot right on the spot. So, yeah, offered him a position right on the spot, yeah.
Were there any shots that you had taken that didn't make the final cut? Because I'm sure there could have been a ton of, that could have been like an hour long, right?
There was actually quite a few. You know, he was telling me about the tickets. He would say he was going to follow me to the house and watch me donate to Omaze. It was hilarious. I had a few lines. My first one was, "Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?" Obviously, I had to say that as an 8-foot tall Wookiee. I mean, and he's like not tall.
How about the other fans out on the street? Any unexpected moments?
There was quite a few that were really funny. The C-3PO thing was kind of improv. Are you C-3PO? And then Paul just looks at him laughingly. It was hilarious. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then a lot of people just like, you know, called Mark Hamill Mark Hamilton, and like other really random, hilarious. You know, he just like looks at the camera like, wow, this just happened.
Was there any moment that just made him either laugh in hysterics or maybe go, oh, what a sweet moment?
There was a few where he, like when I first came up in my Chewbacca costume, we shook hands, and instantly some little kids wanted pictures with us. So we just started taking picture after picture, and literally, like, you could just tell, like, with his body language, he was so happy to take pictures of the kids and the family, and with me in there and him in there taking pictures was so amazing. It was fantastic.
I know it was funny that he said that last time he had worn a Stormtrooper's armor set was in A New Hope, rescuing the princess. Did he get to keep that suit of armor from the First Order Trooper?
I'm not sure. I know Anovos did a great job on it, and they were talking about it while I was on set. I'm not sure if he kept it. I'm sure he probably has it around, but they were keeping a tight leash on that suit, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure about that. All right, anything else to add before we wrap up?
Nope, that's it. It was just an amazing experience.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Paul, Eve, Sean, for talking with us, and I'm sure we'll get some updates a little bit later on when my hands de-thaw. All right, we were just given the most amazing news by Obi-Sean Crosby. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to see The Force Awakens!
Not too loud.
Okay, we're going to see The Force Awakens. Okay, we're not going to tell anyone about this. We were just told by Obi-Sean that we're all going to be let in, not just for the movie, but we're going to be let into the party.
The reception, yeah.
Reception, yay!
Oh my goodness.
Wristbands. I'm gonna take a picture of our wristbands because these are like gold today.
How has this sunken in yet? We're gonna see it today.
This is a dream come true. Let me tell you, seriously. I'm just so mind blown by this experience. We all had our hopes like sunk to the ground, and all of a sudden, Obi-Sean comes with this great and amazing news. I am so mind blown by this.
Like my hand won't stop shaking. It's better than we could have ever imagined.
To let you guys know, the Disney people are really they're sorry. They apologize, and really it just comes down to a communications error.
Right.
And so it's really nice of them to do it. We're happy to do it. Make sure that we're like ready to go, and we have. We follow their guidelines. And so anybody who does not want to see the film, make plans to go somewhere together so we can give you one phone call and invite you back when the film's over. And we'll find a way to get you back into the party. As long as you have this wristband, apparently we're good. You may just be able to walk up to security and go, let me in.
Breaking news as we speak, as we hold this microphone right now, as we record. Breaking news.
It's 11:38.
Now, okay, so that said, anybody who left, anybody who was here and went away, needs to be alerted that they now have the opportunity to do this. Because if they went home because it sucks and the evening was going to be crap, the evening just got better, and they need to know.
Can we post on the lining up and then privately?
Yeah, that would be fine, because basically, our list is concrete. We can't invite anybody else.
I do have a question. Now, are they granting us permission to go to reception after and the movie because of all this? I mean, was it like an apology kind of thing?
Well,
or were they planning on it?
There is a distinct possibility that we spoiled a surprise. Yeah. They may have had this in mind all along.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think it was a lot harder for them to carve out space on the sidewalk than to give us theater seats. So that's
love
the
you,
deal.
Sean.
We love you. Just, just be heroes and, be good people and have a good time and stay warm. That's all we ask.
Sean, I'm in love with you.
Well, tell my wife. But yeah, it'll be great. We just have to survive till this afternoon.
All right, done. So that was just Sean giving us the news and reconfirming the news, because we've been told a lot of things at this point, and apparently this is going to happen. So we are so excited. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. They're going to let us see the movie today. And Sean is telling us to pretty ourselves up. I'm wearing a Wookiee hat. Is that good? All right.
You should text Amelia.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll come back with more breaking news as it happens here in Hollywood, California, on the red carpet to The Force Awakens.
Where dreams do come true, courtesy of Disney. I got to throw it in. Thank you so much, Disney. Woohoo! Got to say it.
Richard, we got news that we were gonna see. We were gonna see the movie that night, plus get into the after party. Like that was all worth waiting all that time and freezing.
Yeah, and some people opted not to see it that night.
It's true, they did.
Because a lot of people's friends,
yes,
they weren't there because they had to go to work. They didn't know this was coming, so they opted out, which I can respect, because if you've been waiting for 2 to 3 weeks or
it's almost
years making plans with your friends,
yes,
you don't want to jump ship on them.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking about it, if only one of us had been there that day, I know we would not have seen it without the other.
Yeah, because during the movie we just gripped onto each other and never let go.
Yeah, especially during certain moments.
To do that with a stranger would have been probably illegal.
Yes.
Now, a few hours after we recorded this, the stars started walking in.
Yes, it was around 4:30.
We saw all these stars. We saw everybody. We saw the news coverage.
Yeah.
Now, the cast of The Force Awakens entered, and everyone went nuts.
Well, so Anthony Daniels was one of the first arrivals.
Yeah.
And he actually came over. See, we were kind of separated from the red carpet, unfortunately.
Yeah, the bleachers were on one side,
Yep,
and we were on the other side.
Well, the bleachers were on one side. There was red carpet. Then there was like a whole bunch of
more
bloggers and a big boom camera.
Yeah.
And then there was us about 10 feet away from that.
Yes.
So
not the best seats, but you know what? We were there.
Oh, yes. We were there, and you could see BB-8 rolling on the red carpet.
And plus, we get to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff as the First Order Stormtroopers came marching up, as Captain Phasma came up, Kylo Ren came up.
They were beautiful cosplayers.
And I thought these were actual costumes, but they weren't from the movie. But you would have thought they were. They were just beautiful.
They were gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And of course, R2-D2 and C-3PO were there. 3PO with his red arm, which we still don't know how he got.
Nope.
And BB-8 came, and then everyone just went ballistic.
Look at him! Oh, BB-8 is so cute! Oh, BB-8!
It's true. It's true. And so we saw, of course, while we were there. Oh, and what's his name from
Guillermo from the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Yeah, he was wearing an R2.
He was R2-D2 cosplaying.
Yep. And we saw Sal Perales and his family.
Our friend the Paralysis.
Yes. And then also super exciting is when the stars did finally come. Okay, so Gwendolyn Christie, you could watch her down the whole red carpet because her head just towered above.
Head and shoulders above the rest.
Yes, and she gave us a big wave because we would all band together and start yelling, chanting
everything. Phasma, Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah. So she gave a big wave. Peter Mayhew threw up his lightsaber walking cane in the air.
Mark Hamill looked over at us, gave us a thumbs up.
Yeah, that was so sweet. Like, and he was being ushered into the red carpet, but he was like, wait.
Oh, yeah.
And he like came over and just yay, big giant wave. And also BB-8 rolling down the red carpet was adorable. And I think my one moment that was really exciting, John Williams.
Oh, I did not expect him to be there.
No?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
He as far as I've seen, he's never been at premieres like this before.
Well, sweetie, this is the biggest
I
world
know.
premiere of all time.
Yeah, but seeing how he hasn't really been with the whole media circus
Yeah.
of all the coverage, he just wasn't
I don't know,
someone
but
I thought would be there. But Frank Oz,
yeah.
didn't think he was going to be there either.
Well, I got emotional when John Williams was like
Of course you
right
did.
there 10 feet away. I was like, oh, man, it's John Williams.
Oh.
Hey, man.
Then they would all stop and take pictures, and we're at a place where we could see them.
Yes. And then, of course, I mean, George Lucas arrived.
Yeah.
And
And
everyone
we
was
still
excited.
Haven't heard, as far as I know, and if you Skywalkers out there, if you have heard any of his reactions, where do we go to find these? Please let us know.
Yeah.
Because no one, as far as I know, no one has still asked him. So, what did you think?
Right. Well, okay, so during this time that we were waiting in our little designated area, we had these silver wristbands that were put on us at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, we just took off yesterday.
Yeah. But they were silver wristbands. They say, what did they say on them? Walt Disney Company. Oh, Walt Disney Studios. I have a picture right here.
Okay, there you go.
So after the red carpet was kind of over, it was nearing 7 p.m., which is when the premiere was supposed to start, and we're freezing, and we're going, okay, when are they going to take us over? So finally...
Well, then they said, oh, we can't find your tickets.
Yeah!
No, where's Ashton Kutcher? We're being punked. Come on, guys, this is not funny.
Yeah, no, it was not
Bring out
funny.
a heater lamp if you're going to pull this.
Yeah. So finally, I see a guy with lanyards hanging from his arm, and I'm like, that's it. So he comes over, and we're all escorted out and given these awesome lanyards with the Force Awakens poster on it, and it says World Premiere, December 14th, 2015, and on the other side is like our seating, basically. Anyway, so we were ushered through the tent through the back.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that we were ushered. They were saying, go very quickly, but we couldn't walk any faster than C-3PO can shuffle. I mean, our legs were just frozen.
Yeah, that's true. So,
and they kept saying, well, the movie's going to start in 15 minutes. It's like, and you're just letting us in now?
I know.
We had to shuffle 4 steady blocks to get to the theater.
Yeah, this tent was massive. So
better not start without us.
After being outside the mouth of this tantalizing tent for 12 hours in the cold, we finally get in and we're shuffled backstage of the tent. So we're like, well, but we want to see what's inside.
Yeah.
But we were like rushed, and our phones were taken away from us. and then we were get into the theater, into the seats, and we're down in like the 3rd row in the front. But you know what? We're seeing it. And now at this point, it had not sunk in that we were gonna see this movie. Like it just hadn't sunk in yet at all. So I think we sat down.
It just happened so fast.
It did. And the live coverage was going on of the event. The Verizon and StarWars.com coverage was being played on the big screen. So it was awesome to see that. And then what was more surreal is they started the whole, in the Dolby Theater, that's where all the stars were, right? So they played the live feed from that, they bring all the stars on stage. And what's weird is we were in the TCL Chinese Theater, which is literally next door to the Dolby. So all of this was happening right next to us. It was so surreal.
And they were also playing it across the street at the El Capitan Theater.
Over 3,000 seats.
Trifecta of The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was so amazing. So
it was great seeing the whole cast of The Force Awakens up there on stage.
And John Williams and all the
Lawrence
droids.
Kasdan.
Yeah.
And then there was Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and R2-D2 up front.
Oh.
And then
C-3PO too, right?
No.
Oh.
For some reason, 3PO didn't come out.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't understand why.
Maybe he couldn't shuffle fast enough.
Yeah. And then as the lights went down, I turned to the girl next to me and said, just to let you know, there will be a lot of screaming. I just want to let you know.
And okay, so in this premiere experience, there's no previews.
Oh, no.
It's like right into the film. So it fades to black. The Lucasfilm logo comes up. We go, we scream. It fades down.
At that point, the girl next to me, she was covering her ears and moving away from me. It's like, this is why I warned you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was like all the cold and all the 12 hours earlier.
And the adrenaline.
And all that. It just snapped.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was like when we saw the Force Awakens teaser trailer at Celebration.
Yeah.
We didn't really hear any dialogue, so
Nope.
we're just so excited. It just, you know what? I've never yelled like that before. It just all came out in just emotions, like a volcano of emotions came right out.
Yeah, so it was really fun because the people around us too,
Yeah.
you know, we were all from the lining up group, all in the first 3 rows down there. And so it was really fun because, you know, we all yelled when that came up. And then a long time ago when A Galaxy Far, Far Away came up, we were all like, ah! And then, you know, the first scenes is some of the stuff you see from the very first trailer, the teaser trailer. So we were all yelling at that. So anytime we saw a new character or a trailer shot or something, we would just be, oh my gosh.
And I love the pre-roll too. It summed up the story perfectly.
What pre-roll? What do you mean?
Like
The
in
very
Star
first
Wars,
scene?
there's a period of civil war, rebel
yes.
spaceships striking from a hidden base.
And then we were right up front, so it looked like it was like
coming
right.
And
I don't know, right out from underneath
the
us.
pre-roll included a lot of familiar names. Whenever someone saw a name, Skywalker, Leia, we would just go nuts.
It was insane, you guys. It was insane.
It was. It really
and it was hard to take in, of course, too. And the moment when Han Solo walks in the ship, and then he comes in the cockpit, and he's like touching the seats, looking around, and they keep it on him like a couple seconds more than really they should because he just got that grin, that grin. You remember?
Oh, I do remember.
Oh.
Well, I think J.J. Abrams knew that we needed a couple of beats of seeing Han Solo alone in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. He was feeling what we were feeling.
Absolutely. Oh
Only
my
he
gosh.
wasn't going.
No, he wasn't. Oh.
So that was fantastic. That led right into it. And then after the movie was over, we found the pieces of our head all over the theater. And they said, "All right, guys, after party."
Yep.
Booyah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have any idea what we were getting into at that point?
The after party?
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah! I was like, I wanna see some stars. I wanna rub elbows with some of these people who worked on the film that we just saw.
And they had rushed us through the 4 city block tents to get into the theater.
Yeah, so now we had time to actually take it in.
Because we all wanted to stop and look at this and look at that, but no, we can't. We'll see it afterwards. We hope.
And my voice was all messed up, so I needed some tea, stat. So we were looking. That was the first thing we did, was looking for hot water.
Food as far as the eye could see. Beverages, not so much.
Yeah. So we're like going through this tent, and literally how long was this thing?
4 city blocks.
Yeah, so we were like walking 3 city blocks before we finally found this tent, and we had gone in the direction of the El Capitan and the Dolby theaters, right?
Right.
So we finally got in line to the tea station and the dessert table, and it was kind of a long line. So I was like waiting. I'm like, I need some tea for my throat so I can talk to these awesome people.
Well, it wasn't a long line for some who decided to cut.
Well, that's the thing. I was about to reach and get my pumpkin whoopie pie that looked really good, and all of a sudden this hand cuts in front of me and starts to get something, and I look at him. I'm like, what is up? It's Clark Gregg, Agent Coulson. He like looks up, and literally I cannot speak, you guys. So I'm like, oh, hey, I like you in that show that I watch.
Yeah, because you don't expect Agent Coulson to be cutting for one, or to be right there.
Yeah, and it was literally like, hey, I like you in the show that I watch, because I could not talk. It was really funny.
He was there with his very petite wife, Jennifer Grey, from Dancing with the Stars, Mirrorball Trophy, and she was in a movie in the 80s that we all know. But we all know her from Dancing with the Stars now.
I think so. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that was hilarious. And then we turn around, and there's J.J. Abrams.
Right amongst there was a VIP section, which all the stars were in, and you couldn't get past the big Samoan security guards.
Right, but he was not in the VIP
he was
section
right there with us.
yet.
Oh no!
And there was kind of a makeshift line forming, so we got in it, and we saw Victor Franco.
Yeah, our R2-D2 friend.
Mm-hmm. And so we were right in line behind him, and then all of a sudden, everyone else noticed that it was J.J. Abrams, and a big mob started forming. The poor guy.
And then they thought of a line. People thought, why wait in line like everybody else when I can just cut right in front and just shove a pen in his face?
Yeah, and there's a moment like, should we get in this? Like, I don't want to mob him.
Yes, because this is what he's here for. He wants to talk to the fans.
He did. I mean, that's why he wasn't in the VIP section yet. He wanted like he's a fan too, so he understands.
Yeah, and he finally turned to us. He made eye contact, and the first thing I said is, "So now, where is the support group going to be held?" And he got a big kick out of that.
He did, and we both shook his hand.
Yeah,
I couldn't talk, of course.
Said how special this was, and he was very, very grateful.
He was. He's just the nicest guy like ever.
Yeah.
And what I find so awesome is 2 years ago, right before we started this podcast, we were at the Hollywood Bowl at the Star Wars John Williams night.
Right.
And we saw J.J. Abrams there. It was just announced that he was the director and that he was shooting on film. And we said hello, shook his hand then.
No. The word you're looking for is we stalked him.
Yes, it's true. We stalked him while he was getting drinks for his family. And then we came up to him and you said...
Like we just ran into him. Oh, I didn't know you were right here.
Yeah. Oh, it was so cute. And I believe I was the one who asked him for a selfie.
Yeah.
Remember?
Well, because you're not going to say no to the little cute girls.
Oh. Anyway, but you said... something about the
I said, thank you very much for shooting on film.
Yep, and he
looked back, oh, it's very important. So, therefore, we just had our one-on-one interview session with J.J. Abrams at that moment.
Yep. Right before we started our podcast.
That's how we built our first episode. And tune in for our first J.J. Abrams interview.
Yep. So, from that day to this moment... After seeing, oh my God, I'm going to cry. After seeing the world premiere of his movie, like the biggest movie of all time, and then here's J.J. Abrams and we got to speak to him, like, oh my gosh, sweetie me.
It was very, very, very special that, once again, he was out with us and not held behind the
VIP.
Red velvet ropes like everyone else.
Yeah, like we didn't see Gwendolyn Christie. We didn't see any of the stars
we saw
of the film.
her, we just didn't see her.
Right.
How do you not see her?
Yeah.
And
so,
Ray Park was there.
Ray Park, also Boba Fett.
Daniel Logan.
Young
Boba Fett.
Yes.
Bonnie Peace and Beru, or not Aunt just yet, but Beru White Sun from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Looking all sparkly.
Yeah. And then later in the evening, David Collins and Sam Witwer were standing there. So we came up to them and were like, hey, guys. And it was awesome because they were telling us how they had voiced Stormtroopers.
Which I didn't know.
So David Collins and Sam Witwer, I believe, went in together and did that.
They did a banter
TK.
When Rey is she's
sneaking around
the Star Killer base. And right before she scales down the wall, she sees two stormtroopers. She overhears them talking about TC-14 droids and how they're outdated. And
yeah, that's David Collins and Sam Witwer.
Just on an improv session right there.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We also ran into Concetta Parker of Rancho Obi-Wan.
And Newman and Steve Sansweet.
Yeah. That was awesome. And Steve Sansweet was into the Builder Droid. Let me tell you. That was fun. Yeah, that was another thing. Well, let me tell you one other person we saw and met, and that was they had a Disney Infinity booth set up.
That's when I lost Sarah.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. So I was standing in line to play with Ray, because Ray is awesome on Disney Infinity, and I get up to play, and who should be facilitating, the players, but John Vignacchi, who is the VP of Disney Infinity. Who knew? So, I know him because he's on all the Disney Infinity TV episodes every week, and he's kind of the face of Disney Infinity, and he's just the coolest guy ever. He's very upbeat, very fun, a lot like us, and we may be getting an interview with him hopefully soon.
Oh, he was very excited about doing it.
Yeah, he loves being on podcasts. He's been on others before, and it would be a great interview. So I'm excited about that, and I got a picture with him, and he's like, "Oh, do you want a picture with me and holding the figures?" I'm like, "Okay." So I picked up Ray and he picked up Poe, and I have this fun selfie. And then I was so excited, and you were telling me to get to the BB-8 line, so I ran away, and I realized I had Ray in my hand. I was like, "Whoops!" So I ran and gave it back.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I know.
No, you did too. Anyway, so that was fun to actually play Disney Infinity with John Vignacchi telling me what to do. Like, how cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like directing a Star Wars movie with George saying,
Yeah.
pan left, pan right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, yeah, let's go into some of the things that were there within the tent. Besides food and drinks, they had the builder droid.
The builder droids like we see at Disneyland.
Yes, we build one droid.
Could be mistaken, but I think I saw Steve Sansweet just dumping all the pieces in his pocket.
Yeah, I could. You saw that too?
Yes, I did. That is not true. He did not do that. They had photo op stations with Chewbacca, R2 and 3PO, First Order Stormtroopers, BB-8.
Yes.
They had a big Kylo.
Chewie. You said Chewie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave Chewie big hugs.
Oh, big hugs, yeah.
Aw.
They had the big Kylo Ren car. It was very reminiscent of the Darth Vader car we saw at Comic-Con. Like the big Hot Wheels car. But this time it was Kylo Ren.
Yes, it was Kylo Ren. There was also Star Wars Legos.
Star Wars Legos, right?
So you built a big brick, and then you got to put it on
onto the First Order TIE Fighter.
Thank you. First Order TIE Fighter. This is why we compliment each other. Let's see, playing Disney Infinity. There was also a station, the Force for Change booth, where you can give to kids. I forget what that's called. You put the wristband on.
Yeah, well, we really ran past that as they were ushering us out at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So we just grabbed a couple of those wristbands and had to be on our way.
Yeah. We had done it before, though, at D23 Expo.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So there was all that stuff set up, and of course, they were giving away free Disney Infinity figures. Unfortunately, all the Poe Dameron ones had disappeared by the time I realized there was a Disney Infinity booth. Darn it. But I got some Kylo Ren.
So the whole party wrapped up around 12:30.
Yeah.
But by the time we like being the last ones out.
We were, dude. We were the last ones.
Security was pretty much pushing us out with a big broom. Guys, seriously, you can go anywhere else. You just can't stay here. We're shutting down. So at 1 a.m., we were just still buzzing with excitement.
And we were. I mean, what a night. And we had gotten up at 4 a.m. And here it was 1 a.m. and we're like, can't leave. Must do all this.
Once again, we just wanted to soak every minute of this in. And I think we did.
And throughout the night, we kept on seeing liningup.net members experiencing this too. And what a great time. What an amazing experience.
We did have to wrap it up ourselves because we had to get up very early in the morning for our press screening of The Force Awakens.
Yes. Okay, so let's go into this because, after this night, this experience, like, you can't really take the movie in. Right? Okay, so the next morning I woke up. I woke up crying. Like everything had just come like full circle. It was like, did that really happen? Like, no, that wasn't a dream. And oh my gosh, the stuff happens in the movie and that was all coming back too.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
It wasn't really until my friend Denise from Universal called me up and said, Rich, I don't want to know anything, but I just want to know this one thing, the fate of Han Solo. And and she doesn't want any spoilers, but she had to mentally prepare herself for this.
Oh, she had to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when I told her, I found myself just all welling up. It's like, it's now a reality.
Now it's reality.
Not until you have to think about it or verbalize it that it becomes a reality.
Yeah. So moving on. So Tuesday, we went to the press screening at Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun because it was fun because we got a chance to see it with 3D. A quieter audience.
Yeah, so we could take it in, and we saw it in 3D, which was great. However, I'm really glad that wasn't our first screening.
No, I mean, if you're gonna cheer at certain characters, but you're not gonna go ballistic,
right?
Like the previous screening had gone. And we got a chance to really soak it in and hear a lot of the dialogue that we missed the first time around.
Yeah, and some of the music too. I was starting to tune into that.
Yeah.
So
it was a good pacing of how we saw the films, and like you just said, we saw it in 3D, which was just magical.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. If you can see this movie in 3D, do it.
Yeah.
Because the Millennium Falcon flying, the space scenes.
Like your father said in a segment coming up and in the show a little bit later on, it totally is immersive.
Yes.
That was a great way of explaining the 3D for The Force Awakens.
Definitely.
So we saw this press screening. No after party, no swag.
No.
You're in, you're out. So it was fun, and we're very grateful.
Yes.
But then,
But it helped us, allowed us to write a better review, having taken it in twice.
right, because we could hear what was going on.
That too.
So we had a day to rest and a day to come back on Thursday, December 17th.
To TCL Chinese Theater IMAX.
Yeah.
And we were there the whole day because we had to be there in the morning to pick our seats. And then we had to, at 2 p.m., there was a Star Wars wedding held by the Chinese theater. Like the first Star Wars wedding ever to be held in the forecourt.
Yeah.
Right
Wait, did you say the first Star Wars wedding or the first wedding? Because this was the first wedding.
The first wedding. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so Andrew Porters and Caroline Ritters from Australia, they got married in front of all the fans, in front of Darth Vader, Chewbacca, stormtroopers, and about 100 media.
Yeah, 100 press with cameras pointing right at them the whole time and interjecting little comments like, move here, move there. It was weird.
Yeah, you know, it was, but like they were saying too, we're just trying to help.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people would be in the shadows, like, oh, if you move forward, we can see you. So
right. It makes for a better picture.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what they were trying to go for.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was very sweet. And later on in the show, we do talk to Andrew Porters about his magical day.
Yes, yes. So we'll get into that a little later.
But then right after the movie, we got a chance to bring all of our friends in to do a round table.
Of course, because why wouldn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
we got to get those opening thoughts.
Yeah, it was a great round table because it really helped organize our thoughts and things that each one of us had questions on, we could answer, and it did make for a good support group.
Yes, it did.
Now, we started off the round table at the after party because the TCL Man Theater...
No, not Man's. So the TCL Chinese Theater IMAX told all the liningup.net people to gather in the forecourt, and then they led us over to Theater 6 where they had a pizza party for us.
Another Star Wars after party.
I know. It was wonderful. So right in that pizza party, we grabbed our microphones and said, all right, come on, everyone. And so we have...
we have Rick Peralta from liningup.net. We have Star Wars origami author Chris Alexander.
We have Talking Apes TV co-host of yours, Mark Ogushowitz, and Rebel Spy, Dave Scale.
We have past Skywalker of the Week, Chris Marino.
And my parents, Peter and Norma Heitman, which was fun to get their
perspective
take because they're not big, giant Star Wars fans.
And I really want, they're big fans by osmosis.
Yes. But it was fun because they haven't seen the movies in a long, long time.
Yeah, and they don't have the background and all the characters and the situation, so I was very eager to hear how they processed it.
Yes.
Now, this was recorded very late, so some people had to drop off because they had to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
And other people joined us in. Like, we had a great cosplayer, a great raid cosplayer who came over, Nancy Steinman, who had
She had a great expanded universe knowledge, which really, we loved that perspective.
It was great hearing from her because I wanted to hear how she processed this, knowing that they're not going with the expanded universe stories.
Yeah, the legends.
Yeah, some people are very miffed about it. Other people are okay about it. Some people are on the fence, so it was good to hear from her.
Yeah.
Now, please keep in mind, Skywalkers, that this roundtable is very, very spoiler heavy.
Yes, so if you have not seen the movie yet, tune out right now.
And now, here we go.
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
We are here at the TCL Men's Chinese Theater, seconds after, the third time you and I saw The Force Awakens, Sarah. We're here with a group of people, and we can't wait to hear their reaction. So, going on the table, we have Dave Scale, the Skywalking Through Neverland ghost host.
Hey, hey, hey.
We have this gentleman whose name I don't know.
Chris Marino.
Chris Marino.
Chris Marino. Oh, you're a Skywalker.
Yes.
Oh, I know the name. How I didn't know that before now, I don't know. We have Mark Ogushowitz, my co-host from Talking Apes TV right over here.
Hey, Rich.
We have Sarah's dad, Peter Heitman.
Hey, Richard and Sarah.
We have Sarah's mom, Norma Heitman.
Hey.
We have Skywalking Through Neverland guest from the past, my friend from 1984, Chris, Star Wars Origami Alexander.
Hey.
And to round us out, over here we have Mr. Rick Peralta of liningup.net.
Hey.
Oh.
I'm glad hey is a thing now. All right,
Very cute.
So we've just seen The Force Awakens after years and years of waiting. So let's get some reactions here. You know what? Let's start over here with Rick because it's because of him that we're here
right
in
now.
line. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna keep this spoiler free.
What?
We're gonna-
No.
Yeah. All right.
We are?
Yeah. You know what? We won't reveal the big guns,
Okay.
but we'll do the best we can.
Okay, because I have some thoughts on some things.
All right. Then how about this? If you haven't seen The Force Awakens yet, you might want to skip this until after you've seen it. Okay?
Yes,
Let's because how
Let's
how
do
do
that.
you talk about The Force Awakens without revealing all of the excitement and things that we've been waiting for so long?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, hold on. Rick is being pulled away by his wife. All right.
Sorry, I just got teased. You've seen Eliza's curled up over in the corner. I was just told by my wife she's first in line for episode 8. So.
Ah, nice.
You go, Eliza. All right, Rick is saying goodbye to some people. Oh, okay, Rick. So, The Force Awakens. What do we think?
What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind is that it couldn't have been much better, I think, for me personally. First of all, Eliza was sitting on my lap through the whole thing, and she was actively gasping at moments, weeping at moments. It was everything I could have hoped for in what her first Star Wars theatrical experience could be. And I'm not afraid to admit, as a 42-year-old grown man, I was openly sobbing at moments myself, too. And it was from joy, because it was exactly what I wanted to get in terms of an emotional experience.
And as much as we want to hear more about what your thoughts were, tell us more about Eliza. She's 7, 8 years old?
She is 7, yes. And, of course, she's grown up in Star Wars because she couldn't help it with me being her dad. But it wasn't really until Star Wars Rebels that she started to really become a fan. And that really hooked her. And certainly having Vanessa Marshall play such a great role in making this turn out the kind of successful charity event that it was, I think that's even made it that much more of a dramatic thing for her. Having Vanessa sitting next to us during the movie was great, and chatting with her afterwards. But it was a kick to see her through this whole line experience become that much more immersed, playing with the lightsabers out in the forecourt and being told repeatedly from other people how she was beating everyone else. She was so good with the sabers thanks to your training. And then to see her then come around to sitting in that theater and having those lights go down and that emotion, that like that blast of the horns at the beginning. And I sidetrack here. I can't wait to talk to you about the music because I know you've got thoughts.
Yeah.
But that was, her ride on that was really something else. And again, spoiler alert, when the big thing happens, she just like dropped into the side of me and I could feel her shoulders jerking and sobs. And it was just like, she doesn't even have the same connections to the characters because she hasn't had the lifetime with them. And it still was, that made me weep even more than I already was because she got it,
Good deal. All right, Chris Alexander, what were your first reactions to The Force Awakens?
Wait, The Force Awakens? I thought we were talking about that other movie, Reverent or something?
The Chipmunks?
Chipmunks, the Alvin and the Chipmunks?
All right.
Sequel?
The antics of Alvin this time, my good parallel.
You know what I love, though, is the level of the animation in that, the way they got the expressions on the Chipmunks.
All right, we're not talking about Chipmunks.
I know what Chipmunks.
Come on, Chris. Force Awakens.
52 years old, I was crying like a baby the minute the Falcon showed up on the screen.
Oh,
I was tearing up going, woo! Later on, I was crying with excitement. Later on, I was crying out of sadness. I was crying at one point. My emotions went all the way up when, how much are we spoiling here?
Let's just go for it.
R2 shows up, and I'm like, what? Yeah! Holy Dad!
Okay, we'll need to bleep that out. Thanks, Chris.
Holy bleep, he's dead. So I went from one extreme to the other in a second. It was a roller coaster ride. I'm still processing the movie. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I got to go back and watch it again and go, what did I miss? Because we were screaming and yelling, and there was dialogue we were covering up.
All right, let's go right over here to Norma, Sarah's mom.
Yeah. Now this is fun because now you and Dad, you are both, you're not super fans like us crazies, So I want to know, and you haven't seen Star Wars in a while either.
Long
so
while.
I really would like to know your thoughts. Anything like jump out at you, and did you enjoy it on a level, that you're? So did you enjoy it as not being super fans?
Yes, I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. It had me, it had my attention the entire time. And I know enough about Star Wars to know when parts of the movies, where the super fans would be just ecstatic, and the different lines that they brought in with Harrison Ford and the different main characters. But I would have to say, whether you're a super fan or not a Star Wars fan, it's a great movie from beginning to end to go and see, and it's a great movie that it doesn't leave you it doesn't leave you not, like, when the movie starts, it doesn't make you go, oh, did I miss something? Do I not know anything? It's just a great story. I'd recommend everyone go see it.
All right, good deal. You know what? We're going to cut right over here to Eliza, because she just woke up. She had awoken from her nap. All right, Eliza, what do you think about The Force Awakens?
I really, really liked it.
Do you have a favorite part?
I have two favorite parts.
And what were they?
It was when Rey finds BB-8, and also when Rey fights the bad guy.
When Rey fights Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that part. I'm very interested to know what you thought when Rey actually picked up that lightsaber. Were you excited?
Yeah.
What did that make you feel? Like, did you feel like you could do that too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Kylo Ren really, really scary?
No.
He wasn't scary?
No.
Was he funny?
Yes.
Did you laugh during the movie? Because there was a lot of funny parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's all swaddled up.
Well, thank you. It's good to know your favorite parts. Thank you.
If you think of anything else, you let us know, okay? All right, now let's come right over here to Peter.
First of all, you have to realize that we were not planning to be here. But 2 days ago, we got this call from our lovely daughter and son-in-law inviting us to join them at this premiere event. And so, number one, we weren't expecting to see it. Number two,
at least right away.
And number two, seeing it at this particular theater with the absolute best sound system, best screen, best 3D imaging I've ever beholden in any movie, that was enough just to be jaw-dropping. And then the story unfolds in front of us, bringing back old friends that we knew and have forgotten over the decades since the first movie was released. So this was just absolutely amazing. I'm still trying to process it. My brain at this time of the evening is kind of fried, but from beginning to end, it was awesome to be part of this audience that was just so in tune to it. It got us wanting to go back and review the movies, and we will be back to see this many more times.
Oh, good.
So, and you know what? In the 3D, would you recommend seeing it in 3D?
Oh, I would, definitely.
I know, because I know 3D can be touch and go, but I thought this
Right.
was really a film that did it and did it well.
Oh,
Yeah.
there is no question about it. This was a total immersion experience, sound and visual. I mean, you can't help it. You're just sucked in from the first roll, the credit that comes up, and it just comes, and it's so compelling. There is no comparison to any recent movie in my experience.
All right, good deal. How about Mark Hamill, Talking Apes TV?
Well, I think it might have been a little bit better if it had some more apes in it. Where was Urko in his helmet?
You didn't see Urko in his helmet?
No.
Well, he had Kylo Ren in his helmet.
Right.
Kylo Ren did not have helmet hair, and I noticed that.
Anyway, to be serious, I got to tell you, I was really happy with this movie because it brought us back to what Star Wars is. And I'm going to speak up for the fans who maybe didn't like the prequels so much. they can be assured that this movie really goes back to what Star Wars was with the originals. J.J. Abrams really captured the feel of episodes 4, 5, and 6 really, really strong. Harrison Ford is exceptional in this movie. He really brings Han Solo back, and his banter with Chewbacca is just really, really great. And I love the new lead, the girl. What was her name? Rey?
Rey?
Yeah, I really loved Daisy her. Ridley? Yeah, I think that she's going to be a really strong character throughout the rest of the series as they keep making the movies. I will say 2 things. One, I found it very predictable at times. I saw things coming a little bit before they should have, but because the movie was so fun, it actually didn't really bother me so much, because the movie really kind of maintained that fun atmosphere of A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, while also giving us the old characters, especially Han Solo and Princess Leia, very strong. They gave us those strong characters back, and introducing some really new characters that were really strong. As for the 3D, I find it interesting that you guys are saying that it's the best 3D that you guys have ever seen, because I generally don't like 3D. And with the exception of one amazing 3D shot of a destroyer. It's a destroyer, right?
The what?
A destroyer.
At the very beginning?
I think it's about halfway into the movie, actually.
Oh, yeah, where everyone gasped.
Yeah, that's a really amazing 3D shot. I didn't really notice the 3D. It was pretty invisible.
Really?
I didn't
When
really
Millennium
notice
Falcon
it.
is
I
twisting
think
and
that's
turning?
a good thing, so it doesn't call too much attention to itself. Because every once in a while, I would go, you know what? I really want to appreciate the 3D right here, and I'm kind of disappointed I haven't really noticed it. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right, but to me, it almost remedied itself pointless because I didn't notice it. I mean, I didn't really see any reason for it. I was a little worried coming in because I would have preferred seeing it in 2D first. But because I didn't really notice it here, it didn't distract me either the way normal.
Yeah, you know what? I think they used it here like they did in Avatar, where it was more atmospheric.
Right, or a better example of that is in the movie Up, the animated film, where it's really there to be atmospheric. But even there, I kind of noticed it. Here, when I walked out, I was kind of like, I totally forgot it was in 3D. With the exception of that one shot,
Well,
and I got to tell you,
we've seen
it was a great
in
great
2D
shot.
and 3D, and once you've seen it both ways, you really notice the 3D more in the space scenes.
Right.
That's when it really sticks out.
Right. Well, just to reiterate, my initial reaction was I was so glad to see Star Wars back, because I really am one that does not like the prequels very much. I don't think they hold up to the standard of 4, 5, and 6, and I think this one really brought us back to that standard. It's not as good as New Hope or Empire, but I definitely think it's better than Return of the Jedi. So I put it as the third best, and I think fans are going to love it. I think new people are going to love it. I think fans are going to love it a little bit more, because the Han Solo stuff I think you'll love more if you know who he is.
Okay.
But I think new people will get him and really love him as well.
All right. We'll get into more detail in a few minutes on that. Chris, what did you think?
I absolutely loved it. I couldn't have been more excited to see it when it was coming. So, I definitely need to see it again to make sure what I thought by seeing it the first time is exactly what I thought it was. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. I loved everything about it.
So,
did you have a favorite moment?
Well, one of the things he thought, Mark thought was predictable is when Rey, spoiler, when Rey pulled the lightsaber out of the snow. I loved it. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was one of those moments that I saw coming like a mile away, but I'll tell you, it still kind of worked for me because I was glad to see it happen.
Well, it's not like it's a twist that they're trying to hide.
Right. There were a couple of twists, though, that I saw coming.
Because we saw, you know what, before we get too much into detail,
just to say, the twists that I saw coming, they generally still worked.
Which speaks volumes.
Right.
Because they're not really supposed to be twists, just an excitable moment.
Right. Some of them were twists, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Some of them were twists, but I think what you're talking about were just very fun moments that the scene was building up to.
Right.
So you did see it coming, and when it did happen, I know you're very hard to please. So to hear you say that you were excited about it makes me happy. Now let's come on over here to Dave Scale.
Well, first I want to thank you guys for your sacrifice of standing out in the cold for hours and hours and hours so that I could be here tonight. it was. I hope that it was worth it for me to be here.
Oh, it was. It was. Now, what's your impressions after all the waiting for years and years? Now you finally get to see it. Did it live up to your 100% expectation?
It met my expectations, and my expectations were high. I was really excited to see it, and I was very like, wow, I'm actually watching this right now. I thought that the movie, like what Mark said, it took the charm that the original trilogy had and continued with that same charm, that same writing style, and the same storylines, but developed them into some new directions that kept similar themes but gave them a new twist. And I loved the new technology and the new style that J.J. Abrams brought to filming that, that made it a whole new kind of realistic looking experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like, whoa. And as far as the 3D goes, I think that the 3D created an immersive universe where we were part of the story and part of the experience.
Oh, especially during the scene, like I was saying before, it's for the atmosphere, and we're on the Star Killer base and it's snowing. It really felt like you were there because the snow was like right in your face.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good word, immersive.
Which is what Avatar did.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Now we have a newcomer over here.
Yes, a Padme. I keep on wanting to say a Rey cosplayer. You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Nancy Steinman.
And you're part of the LiningUp.net group as well.
I am.
All right, so we're giving our first reactions to The Force Awakens.
I thought it was wonderful. All my expectations were met. I wasn't disappointed. I really loved how the characters, I was really concerned about Han and Leia and holding true to themselves, and they did. I thought that you could see their old personalities shining through. And another thing that I was worried about is, I've read a lot of the books, and this movie was supposed to become the new canon, and it's a little disconcerting to try and get all the other universe out of your head. And even though it's not exact, the fact that Kylo Ren is Han and Leia's son, and he turned to the dark side, that is reminiscent of what happens in the books as well. So they kind of continued the canon, even though they said they didn't. So, and I can't wait for the next movie, because the ending minute of this film just grips you, and you've got to know what happens.
Being an expanded universe reader, you were saying that it was hard getting that universe out of your head. Do you think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. I mean, this film, no, because the continuity is there. It hasn't deviated that much. And, Jason, who is Han and Leia's son in the expanded universe, goes to the dark side. So, I mean, even though his name is not the same, it holds true to it. And so far, there's nothing in this movie that destroys the expanded universe. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but...
Except for the fact that I guess they didn't have twins, right?
We don't know that yet.
Well, we don't know that
yet.
True.
We don't know that.
We do not know.
Kylo Ren is still out there.
Can I say one more thing that I liked about it?
Please.
Okay, I knew as long as it was something that I liked about it, you'd open the door for me.
Go right ahead.
There were two movies that did this year. Creed was the other one, and what I found very interesting about Creed in this movie is they're continuing stories, but they're not being scared to pass the torch. And in this movie, basically they're continuing the Star Wars story, and we're getting Han Solo, and we're getting Princess Leia, and we're getting a lot of other characters, but it's not their story. Han Solo still has his story in this, but he's more of a supporting character, so we can pass the torch on to these two new characters of Rey and Finn. And I really liked how they weren't scared to do that, in the sense of, we got to bring the old characters back for the fans, but if we continue those stories, it's just going to get tired. We want to tell some new stories. And they weren't scared to do that while respecting the old movies by staying true to bringing the other characters back and keeping them in the series and keeping them important in the series. I mean, Han Solo is very important to the story, even though he's not the main character. And I really respect that, and I have a feeling that, I won't spoil this because it's at the very end of the movie, but I have a feeling that the next movie is probably going to do the same thing, but with another character.
Now, I was worried that, am I going to like these new characters of Rey and Finn? Because I want to see so much of Luke, Han, and Leia that when I feel resentful. But no, because I think, and I know you and I differ on this, that they set up the characters so well in the beginning that you accept them very, very quickly because they are rounded out and they're very Star Wars characters.
Right. I actually wish they had set them up a little bit more in the beginning, but around, 20 minutes in, they start setting them up pretty strong. And I'll tell you where the character of Rey is really strong. The performance by this actress.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. She's really strong. They found a really, really good actress in her. And I think that she actually is a big strength of why this movie's as good as it is. We got a lot of great special effects and everything, but it's her performance as the lead and her struggle. There's a moment, spoiler, where she figures out that she's got the Force in her. And she doesn't immediately know how to use it. She actually messes up a couple of times. And you can see her struggling with it when she's trying to order the Stormtrooper around and it doesn't work. And it's really funny, and you can see her trying to figure it out. And it's the way that she performs it that makes that scene really, really work. I think they got a really strong actress here. And I know that with Star Wars, a lot of the actors kind of don't really go. Like Mark Hamill, he went and did a bunch of stuff, but he wasn't like a Harrison Ford. I think this girl, I hope to see her, really blossom in other movies. I really hope to see her in some other stuff. I thought she was really strong here.
Let's go back to Rey and the Force. Do you think that she was just figuring out in this movie that she had the Force, or do you think that she knew even before the story began that she had the Force? Let's go ahead, Dave.
I think that they made a whole point of her touching Luke Skywalker's lightsaber as triggering something within her. And then that's where all of her Force powers began.
Right.
So, right before that, when she was flying the Millennium Falcon, was when she flies it through and she has like really good reflexes, and at that part where she flips it over and Finn's able to shoot the last TIE fighter, he goes, "Oh, how did you do that?" And she goes, "I don't know, I just did it." So I think that she was using the Force then but didn't know it.
Yeah, this was about her discovering that she had the Force and learning to use it, and I think some of it was instinctual. Like there's a fight scene with her at the beginning of the movie, and I think that some of that was probably training, like her growing up, but I think that some of it was instinctual as well, and I think the flying of the Millennium Falcon became instinctual, and she didn't know what was going on, and she figured it out about 3/4 of the way through the movie with that scene with the Stormtrooper and decided, oh, wait a minute, because maybe it was because she touched that lightsaber, which I'm hoping is not going to lead to the obvious reveal because of that. I'm hoping there's a surprise. I'm hoping that's a mislead, please. But I think that helped her kind of think, well, I wonder what's going on. And then when she's in that scene with the Stormtrooper and she started to piece it together, because you remember, what's the bad guy's name?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
What's it?
Kylo Ren.
When Kylo Ren was trying to get the information from her and he couldn't, I think she was really putting it together there, and then she realized, hey, maybe there's something here. And then when she tried to use it, well, she didn't know how, so there was no instinct there because she was trying, and she got it wrong a couple of times, and I love that because one of the problems I had with Episode 1 was how Anakin seemed to be able to use the Force so easily. And here I love the fact that she had to figure out that she had it, and then she had to really figure out how to use it. Even though it's kind of quick, I think this actress really pulled it off.
Yeah, well, Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, he is the chosen one, so he's going to really tap into his midichlorians that much easier than someone like Rey.
But it makes for a more interesting character if you have to watch them discover and figure it out rather than just having.
Right.
Yeah, I think that when Kylo Ren pushed into her mind, it awakened it even greater, and when her trying to push him out jump started it into being realizing what was going on.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a very good point. But when she was trying to use the Jedi mind trick on the Stormtroopers, how would she know if that would work or not. How would she know to do that if she hadn't tried it before?
When you watch it again, and I know you will, you'll see that she's not sure it's going to work. That's in her performance.
But how would she know to even try to go there?
Maybe because of the legends. Maybe she had, she talked,
That was my thought too.
Yeah, she had heard that that's what Jedis could do. And when she realized that this was going on, she was like, I'll try it.
Right, they're not unaware that Jedis exist in this movie. They know, they've heard the legends. Like, they say that Luke Skywalker, I thought he was just a legend. They've heard the stories. And so as she's starting to piece it together, and then this trigger maybe happens, she's kind of putting together, what's going on here. And then she's like, I don't know if this is going to work, but let me give it a try kind of situation. I'm sure it was a little different in her mind. The way it probably a little... I could have probably worded that better, but I think that's kind of, what was going through. And maybe I got the impression that she wasn't sure that it was going to work.
Right.
Things throughout the movie, if you watch the movie, things throughout the movie are sprinkled in there and placed really well that when you look back, you can see where the hints are coming that she can add up.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I noticed something the third time around now that I didn't notice before, and that is when Maz Kanata says to Rey, close your eyes, you see the light, you see the Force, right? And so at the very end, when Kylo Ren is about to kill Rey over the cliff, he says the word Force, and that triggers her thought process in her head, and she's like, oh, and she closes her eyes and taps into the Force. So that's something I noticed.
There's a lot of stuff sprinkled throughout this movie. It's really, really well written. And I also want to mention one other thing. One of the greatest reveals, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it happens just so people will know what I'm talking about after they see the movie. There's a scene where Rey and Finn are running, and then there's an incredible reveal of a popular item, one of the best reveals.
Well, we've already revealed it here in this round table, so...
All right, no, we haven't revealed this one yet. If you want me to say it, I'll say it.
The piece of garbage.
The piece of garbage. When the reveal on the Millennium Falcon, how that's revealed, I didn't see that coming, and it's one of those moments that even I, when I saw it, I'm like, yes, that awesome.
Yeah. And the crowd went crazy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, this is a beloved character for the last 38 years, so this is something that everyone had a connection to.
Only twice only twice this year in theaters have I heard this kind of reaction in a crowd. And believe it, the other one was for the fanfare in Creed, the Rocky fanfare when that came up. Because of the way they placed it, not normally in the Rocky movies, the crowd went wild. But this was an even better moment than that.
And then
this was just a great, great Star Wars moment, this reveal.
It was, and who else cringed when she started flying it and it was crashing against the ground and things. It was like, stop
They
that
just
with the
revealed
Falcon.
the Millennium Falcon, now they're going to destroy it.
That was really amazing flying.
I couldn't wait to hear the story. Why is the Millennium Falcon in a junkyard?
I know.
How did it get there? How does Rey know how to fly this ship?
Yeah. Well, that is one thing I recommend everyone to read all the Journey to the Force Awakens novels, because they really give you just a sense of the world that you're in, just kind of a baseline as to where this movie starts. It doesn't reveal any plot points.
Well, you get a pretty complicated explanation of why the Millennium Falcon was where it was, because they say so-and-so had it, and so-and-so had it, and so-and-so had it.
That's not part of the novels.
Stole it.
But that's definitely part of... that particular avenue isn't part of the novels, but I hope they release more novels now that catch us up as to Han and Leia, how they got together when they had a kid,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll make an animated series. I actually would be on board with that. See, an animated series that kind of showed the in-between.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're going to have the comics and more novels to bridge everything together.
Right.
Right now, the Shattered Empire is bridging things together. All the other Star Wars comics are bridging what's happening in between, and as well as the novels. Right. Now, one thing about Rey that I thought maybe it went a little too far, she kind of, for plot convenience, they had her know too much. She could fly the Millennium Falcon. She could speak droid. She could speak Wookiee. She could speak more languages than C-3PO.
And she knew a lot about mechanics and stuff, too.
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome.
The mechanics was the only thing that was really understandable because she's a scavenger. But the other, speaking all the different languages and flying like she did, I don't know. That didn't seem so realistic, but.
Right.
But
You
yeah,
make a good point.
but there was.
The Force was with her.
But it felt very strongly like they're setting something up to where it's more than just she's mechanical. She and Han Solo were on the same wavelength. They were able to communicate back and forth. So there is. It wasn't just that she was mechanical, and obviously they were setting her up to be his mentee, his protege. But also it makes you wonder what her backstory is and how that relates to Han Solo, because it was more than just coincidence. At least that's the way it felt.
Well, yeah, the fact that they were finishing each other's sentences.
Well, I'll tell you why it worked for me. And this is the kind of thing that would normally bother me. But what they did is, in a way, they acknowledged what you just said by having Han Solo react to that. He wanted to immediately hire her to kind of come on and work with him, fly around with him. And then he would also make comments about how smart she was and how impressed he was with her. And I think that kind of relieved the questions that you have in my mind. It made it easier to swallow, because one of the characters in the movie was kind of commenting on, her knowledge of the ship and stuff like that.
Right. So, yeah, I like the fact that she did know some stuff, like the scavenging part and being a mechanic, and maybe she did have some kind of background in the Millennium Falcon, because she did know her way around the ship. When something went wrong, she would know what panel to go to pull a wire, or she even taught Han Solo how to refly the Millennium Falcon. Han, you press that button over there.
She bypassed the compressor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she did. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Now, did you find any Easter eggs in this, or callbacks to the other 6 films?
I did.
There was no Urko helmet.
Me.
Okay, Sarah, what do you got?
Musical callback. Okay. So
there were a lot of those, though.
Remember, in A New Hope, Burning Homestead, when Luke arrives and sees Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, and the music, it swells, dun 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 dun, and he looks down, and he looks up, and his jaw changed, and he's become a man. This is his turning point in the film. Well, the same thing happens right when Rey reaches for the lightsaber, and the lightsaber flies to her. You hear the Force theme. You hear dun 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 dun, the exact same.
Well, it's great that Kylo Ren is reaching for the lightsaber.
Oh, I know.
But Rey is right behind him and pulls it past him
it's
into
amazing.
her hand.
Oh my gosh.
That is when you hear the Burning Homestead music, which, whereas in A New Hope, it really signifies Luke's independence.
Okay.
Because he's leaving the ordinary world and going on to
his
train to be a Jedi.
Journey, right.
And the same musical cue happened when Rey grabbed that lightsaber and ignited it. So it was a connection to Luke Skywalker and his independence. So there's a Skywalker connection here.
Well, it's the connection of the journey. She's accepting her journey. She's going to the next step, the next level of her journey.
All right, so you think it's more thematic than character-driven? So thematic meaning
it's following the hero cycle. It
signifies her independence from the ordinary world going into the brave new world.
Yeah, it's like the next step in her evolution, yes.
So you don't see that as being a Luke Skywalker connection?
I mean, yes and no, but I think more so it's more that next step into a larger world for her.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this. I actually noticed a lot of connections, but there was one that bothered me, so I want to get your opinion on it. If you remember in Star Wars A New Hope, Princess Leia puts that message into R2-D2. And I was really bothered by this because it was too on the nose for me when...
Poe Dameron. Poe, the X-Wing pilot.
Okay, so it really bothered me when Poe put the map into BB-8 because it just felt like it was too on the nose. I know they were trying to pay homage to Star Wars, but it felt a little too on the nose for me, and it kind of bothered me. And so I'm interested to see if anybody else had the same feeling as me, or or if I'm just nuts.
You're just nuts. Dave, Scale?
I felt there was parallel storyline as far as that type of stuff goes, where they try to take a lot of the same elements of the original story but give it a new twist to create a familiar but new experience.
Oh, I was just going to say it was familiar, but at the same time, that may be the way that people, communicate to other people by sending messages that way. Just like a flash drive, like we would use a flash drive, it just may be the thing to do.
All right, we have someone new joining us. Tell us your name and what you have that you had found for Easter eggs or callbacks.
Alrighty, hi, my name is Samir Bakhta. I'm one of the organizers of the LiningUp.net line. So I was agreeing with what you were just saying is that there's a lot that I loved about this movie, but the plot line just got me because it was, let's go find the little droid, let's put the secret map / message / whatever in the droid, let's have the Empire go chase the droid, the droid will tell us some secret, and then eventually we go blow up the large round Death Star killer base thing that's really big and round and blows up planets with a one single spot that is vulnerable, and we can do it. And then there's a countdown to when it was going to blow up the Rebel base with Princess Leia highlighted by a big map. And then the only way that we blow it up is with Han Solo saving the day and an X-Wing going down a trench run and firing photon torpedoes. I love callbacks. I thought the callbacks in there were awesome. Like the Jedi training droid or the little secret droid. I thought that was awesome. Yeah. There's a bunch of little things that were awesome. But that was the one thing that just killed me about the movie was the fact that the plot was just lifted straight out of Episode 4.
So did you not enjoy the movie, or like what would you rate it?
I liked the movie a lot.
Okay.
And there's a lot that I loved about it. So I'd give it a 7 to 8, and that was on first viewing. It might change as I go on because that's what everybody that's signed it the second time said. Oh my gosh, I loved it even better the second time. The thing that I loved about it was the character development. I walked in and we met Finn and Poe, and within 5 minutes, these are two characters who I was like, well, these guys are awesome. They're sitting in a TIE fighter, escaping from the First Order, blowing up other TIE fighters, and the two guys are sitting there talking to each other, having a blast. I'm like, okay, great. In a couple minutes, I've already gotten totally invested in two characters that I really liked. And then you get that lightsaber battle at the end, and it's three characters who I am absolutely invested in, who I absolutely like, who I'm really interested in seeing what happens to. So that was one of the things I just absolutely loved, is the fact that through simplicity, I thought a lot of things were better, and then the character development was amazing.
Nice. Now, Dave, you were talking about some
another
callbacks.
Well,
Thank you.
Did you guys pick up on any of the Star Tours callbacks? There were two scenes that were real reminiscent of Star Tours, the ride at Disneyland. There was when the alien attacked the Millennium Falcon and you saw the giant tongue licking that's exactly like Naboo.
Yeah.
When you land on
The
Naboo on Star
scene.
Tours. And then when the Millennium Falcon went sliding down the snow slope and almost went off the edge,
Yeah.
that's Hoth.
Definitely.
So there were a couple of Star Tours, as far as I'm concerned, those were Star Tours nods.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What about the shot of the AT-AT walker buried?
Oh, yeah.
How beautiful was that?
That was
a
gorgeous.
great shot. And I felt like that wasn't only a callback to the AT-AT, but what about isn't that kind of a callback to the dinosaur bones?
Oh,
in A
the
New
crate
Hope?
dragon in New Hope,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It was half buried in the sand.
Yeah.
The dead creature that's been there for who knows how long.
Right.
Yeah. And then
That was great.
I just want to say another thing, like, read Lost Stars, because there's a fun connection on Jakku. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Please
Chris.
read it.
That's next on my list.
Okay.
Almost done with the Han Solo one.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
telling you,
Lost
Richard's
Stars.
halfway through, and he needs to finish reading it.
I'm amazed you can put it down. So I picked up Lost Stars and I read it on the course of a plane flight from Dallas to LA, and I could not put it down.
Well, I was ripping through it, and then all of a sudden, the craziness of The Force Awakens happened, and this is pretty much all we've been doing is seeing The Force Awakens and sleeping on sidewalks.
Yeah, you got some time in line. You can pick up the book and read through there.
Oh,
Now, you know what?
I try to bring a book to the line.
So
Too much fun going on.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, the other callback that I loved was the fact that you had these characters that, the minor backstage characters or behind the scenes characters or folks that you didn't they were not major characters, and yet they were called back in a way that was relatively subtle and not in your face, but was awesome. Like Admiral Akbar. When you pan over, you see Akbar. They don't identify him by name. They don't call him by rank. But you're like, dude, it's a trap. But he doesn't sit here and says, it's a trap. It's just, you're like, okay.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
They didn't seem to age at all.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Oh, he looked older. He looked
his voice.
different.
Or then Nyenyub, who, I mean,
Nyenyub,
you see him for maybe 5 seconds. And yet you're like, oh my God, dude, it's that guy. And then when you look at the credits, he's actually listed by name as Nyenyub.
Nyenyub, yeah.
And Nyenyub. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I love that.
In Maz Kanata's castle, we have the reminiscent of the cantina or Jabba's palace.
Right.
Did we want to see some of those creatures we've seen before in there?
I thought it was great that they were all new. I mean, honestly, I would have been frustrated if there was a Salacious Crumb in there because it didn't fit the story. I mean, having Nyenyub and having Akbar in the Resistance made sense. Having a Salacious Crumb or something like that. Like, although I would say if you had some of the characters from the Mos Eisley Cantina, that might make sense. Yeah.
You want to see some of those species in there? Did you want to see a Rhodian or a Thorian?
Right, exactly.
What's that?
Deveronian.
Oh, Deveronian.
Or an Ithorian,
exactly.
Ithorian would have been good.
I don't think I would have wanted. I don't think I would have wanted to see those characters because we weren't on Tatooine.
Well, yeah, but they
So
were all.
I'm not sure they
But
would've
this
been
is a
there.
galactic
This is a
characters.
spaceport, so they're coming from all over the galaxy.
Right.
I want to see an Ithorian. The hammerhead creatures,
Right.
I wanted to see one of
It
those.
didn't bother me that they weren't there, and I just love the fact that we went into a cantina type atmosphere.
But to me, that would have tied the other films into this. I wanted to see more of the creatures we've seen in the past that just says, okay, we're in the Star Wars universe because we're seeing some of these same creatures we've seen before. I don't mean literate with everyone we've seen before, but I wanted to see a Rhodian somewhere in there. And I wanted to see a creature we've seen in other movies.
I didn't have a problem with it being all new characters, and I think if you would have seen one of the classic characters, it would have felt a little forced and obvious.
I also feel like we had enough, and there would be a point when there would be too many. And I think that we really got a good amount to work. Whereas if they had just started happening in every scene, it would have just gotten too much.
I don't mean in every scene, but having a Twi'lek in there, who they're very Star Wars centric. I would love to have seen a Twi'lek.
Let's remember that this is kind of a passing of the torch kind of movie where we're introducing new characters with new stories, but keeping them in the same world by having some of the same characters. And I think that they had the right amount. I'm gonna fight for J.J. Abrams on this one. I think he did a good job with the amount of characters he called back in those kind of roles.
I could argue both ways, but I'm going to lean more toward I wanted to see maybe a Zabrak, the Darth Maul character in there.
Maybe they're going to hold off to the next movie.
Oh.
Well, it's too late. We already had the scene.
All right.
But in that one scene, I just wanted to see more.
Oh, gotcha.
I wanted to tie it together.
Now, how cute is BB-8? I know.
Me and Richard talked about this actually. I was a little worried about BB-8, and I actually really liked him. I didn't think he was as strong as R2-D2, but he, as a new character, I think he worked really well. I was really surprised. I was a little worried that, in the trailers it made him look a little too cute, and they were probably going to play the cute angle, but he worked really strong for me. I was really happy with him.
Now, would you relate him more with R2-D2 or Wally?
Oh, a little of both.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably what's good about him is he's a little of both.
Right, because he's got a movable head where R2 just swivels back and forth. This head can move all around just like in Wally, so you can get more expression out of him.
And his little body can go.
Yeah.
I still think they need to explain how his head stays on.
Oh, would you drop that?
The Force. The Force. There you go. See, somebody finally gave me an answer.
There you go. Yeah. Oh,
I like the those like cables that he shoots out to get himself to move around.
That was very reminiscent of R2 with his jetpack.
Oh, and when he did the thumbs up with the little torch.
Now, you know what I thought was interesting, though, is that there was a distinctive size difference between him and R2.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously that's by design, but I'm wondering what their thought was behind the scenes for that decision.
Well, the smaller you go, the cuter you get.
Not only that, they didn't just give us another R2. They did everything they could to say, it's time for new characters. We're going to have the old characters here, like I said before, but we are going to have new characters with their own new personalities. Because one thing that a lot of sequels really are guilty of is just giving us more of the same thing. And by making him so different, I mean, he still kind of beeps the same way, but he's his own character. And by making him so different, we can now get new characters and new stories and not just the same thing. And this film was very strong and giving us some of the old, but giving us a lot of new stuff that's just going to build to more complicated and better, not more complicated, but more building on the myth as opposed to repeating it.
Right. I agree. However, would it kill him to put a Gamorrean in Maz Kanata's castle?
Richard, get over it. It's done. It's done. So this is my thing that I loved about BB-8 is that they didn't make him R2 light. It wasn't, and he was not the Wesley Crusher. He did not fix the ship at every opportunity. You know, when the Falcon was going out, I was like, oh God, here goes BB-8 going to go fix things. No, it was Rey that fixes the Falcon. And BB-8 was like, okay, I'm just hanging out, dude. I'm gonna yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna, spin around the corridors of the Falcon and
that was hilarious.
That was, BB-8. You definitely had the cute factor, and he's adorbs. But I like exactly what you said, that he's a different character and he's not just R2 light, which is pretty neat.
But he also definitely had that, I'm looking up to R2, like that's my droid legend, when he sees R2 and he's like trying to talk to R2 and R2's not talking back. And then at the end, R2 had the big map, he had the little map. So there's a passing of the torch going on in the droid world too.
Interesting.
Yeah, very true.
I also love he went right when he saw Poe, went right back to him.
Oh yeah.
That's my guy, and all these other people. Nice meeting you. Poe's my guy.
So one thing that I thought was that somebody else mentioned that I thought was cute was that if you see there's a scene when they're all back at the Resistance hangar and C-3PO is like, oh, come along, BB-8, and you're not seeing 3PO introduced to BB-8. You're not seeing any sort of an interaction. It's like, no, 3PO knows BB-8 because they're all droids together. They're all in the Resistance together, which I thought was kind of cool. It's like, you are now part of the tribe, and there's BB-8, part of the Resistance, along with 3PO and R2-D2, and he's just one of the family.
Now, was it?
Did they explain C-3PO's red arm?
No explanation. And then it turned gold after a while.
There's going to be a Marvel comic, a one-off that explains this. But like Dave was saying, 3PO did refer to it and left it right there. Yeah. It's like, well, 3PO, why do you bring that up? Now we want to know. But now let's talk about the comedy in this film. Now, after seeing it 3 times, we're laughing just as hard at the strong jokes as we did the very first time. So let's talk about favorite funny parts. Sarah?
Oh, okay. So when Kylo Ren is really, really pissed off about Rey leaving and disappearing, and he's like killing a chair, and the stormtroopers are walking down the hallway, and they hear it, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna turn right around now. That was so amazing.
Okay, who else got a funny moment?
My personal favorite was when they show up on the snow, and Han Solo looks at you. He's like, "Yeah, oh, really? You're cold? Really?" That was awesome.
Well, it's funny that Han and Finn are talking, and he turns around to Chewie. Really? You're cold? Seriously? It just comes out of nowhere. And again, I think, was that an improv moment?
I wouldn't put it past Harrison.
I liked when Chewie's talking to the nurse, and it's like, and she's like having to comfort him about how brave he was.
Well, that was very brave, weren't you?
And Chewie was flirting with her.
And that was one of the other things that I liked about this, is that it really was another callback back to Episode 4. I mean, you think about Leia going, would somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way? I mean, the movie did not take itself too seriously. It let itself have fun. They just let the characters have a good time.
Well, at the very beginning of the movie, Kylo Ren's taking over the village, all the stormtroopers, and then, they get Poe on the ground, and then there's that moment
where Poe and Kylo Ren are face to face.
Yeah, and Poe's like, all right, so who talks first? You talk first? Me talk? It was totally just set the tone for the movie, I think.
I thought that kind of created Poe's character. To me, it was reminiscent of Tony Stark, actually.
Tony Stark?
Tony Stark. It was a very similar type of character.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and then there comes the next line where Kylo Ren speaks to him, and Poe says, I can't understand you. What are you saying? And
Again, very Tony Starkish in my mind.
Yeah, making reference to, your voice is very distorted here. I can't understand what you're saying.
Maybe thought of Batman.
Yeah, but that's not a line you would really hear in Star Wars. Because I couldn't imagine anyone ever saying that to Darth Vader, or anyone. But this was something new, and it stuck out as, does this fit in a Star Wars movie? Would someone really say that to someone as menacing as Kylo Ren? But it works.
I guess he would.
Again, I thought that was trying to establish his character.
Yes, he's a brash pilot.
Yeah, he's the brash pilot, and to me, he was being cast with the Tony Stark type personality, which is cocky and confident and brash.
I thought Finn and Poe in the TIE Fighter. That scene was classic. I thought that was hilarious. I mean,
Who knew a TIE Fighter was a two-man ship?
Well, the new ones are. The new ones are. Yeah, they shoot backwards. But I thought that scene was so funny. How do you? I could do this. He just didn't know how to shoot anything. He kept looking for a blaster because that's all he knows how to use.
Right.
This wasn't the funniest moment, but I really liked when Rey slammed the door down on the tentacles and Poe got away. And I forget exactly what she said, but it was just
when Finn got away.
Snarky.
Yeah. She said, "Oh, that was lucky," or something like that.
Yeah, very sarcastic.
Now, my favorite funny moment, Finn has told Rey that he's part of the Resistance, and BB-8 is catching on, and Finn is asking him, "Where's the base? I can't let her catch me in this lie. So where is it? And BB-8's caught in the middle of this lie triangle, and Finn gives BB-8 the thumbs up, and out comes a little arm from BB-8 and blows a torch as if it's a thumb to give Finn the thumbs right back again. How funny was that?
Like the biggest reaction in the theater. That was so funny.
And then Han says, "They always find out. The women always find out when you're lying."
Yep.
Now, I had a question about who Poe's father is. The old guy who gives him the flash drive thing.
I don't know if that's his father.
He said it was. That's what Kylo Ren said. He said, your old man gave it to you, didn't he?
There's a lot about family in that scene. They talk about family, and there was some. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that scene again because you're absolutely right. There was a lot about family stuff in there.
How great was it to see Max von Sydow?
Yeah. I mean, it is explained in the Shattered Empire about Poe's family, but yeah, there's in the opening scene of the film, Poe is talking to Max von Sydow in the village, and Max, whose characters I don't know his name yet, but he's the one who gives Poe that missing piece of the map to find Luke Skywalker.
Right. I don't think that's his father. I think Poe just was visiting him. In the opening scroll, it tells him that Poe was Leia sent Poe. Yeah, to go find this guy. Right.
Which, by the way, for those of you who read Moving Target, that's the framing story is about Leia sending off Poe and saying Poe's our last hope, and we're going to send him off to go search for this stuff.
Whew. Well, we just wrapped up the Force Awakens roundtable breakdown at that point. What an experience.
Yeah, and once again, it was great hearing other people's perspectives, and you got a chance to really flush scenes out in your head. Okay, this is why this happened, and I didn't realize that this person said this, so this makes sense over to here.
Yeah.
Not that anything was confusing, it was just the fact that you're trying to process all this information at one time.
And having seen it 3 times at that point, like I picked up a lot more stuff, especially in the music and some of Rey's journey. So I was excited about that.
Now at this point, Samir Bakhta from liningup.net, he came over to join us and he asked us about our line experience. Since he's one of the organizers, he wanted to get some feedback.
Yeah.
He wanted to hear our firsthand experiences and what we thought, any kind of comments, and how it was seeing the film with 3 different kinds of audiences, which was a blast to really process.
Now, then we also talked with Andrew Porters, who, of course, is the groom of the evening and got married right outside the TCL Chinese Theater IMAX. And we will play all of this right after this classic joke from The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
So in honor of the cast of Star Wars being here, today's joke is Star Wars themed. What did the sweet potato say to Luke Skywalker? What did the sweet potato say to Luke Skywalker? Luke, I am your father. Thank you.
Now, back to our discussion with Samir Bakhta of liningup.net, The Force Awakens groom Andrew Porters, and Obi-Sean Crosby,
who was the Obi-Wan officiant at the wedding.
Yeah, I've got a question for you guys if we're done. So what did it feel like for you guys that have seen, now this is your second or third time seeing, watching it in, with the press screenings and everything versus watching it with the fans on opening night? I'd love to hear your experience about that.
Well, I mean, it's way more fun with the fans. I mean, watching at the premiere night, we were in a section of super fans, so we were all like screaming and yelling just like the whole theater did just now.
We've been waiting outside for 16 hours. We were freezing, and we were just pumped for this.
Yeah,
so there was
on
a lot of
premiere
excitement, but I think because a lot of us had been worn down, we wanted to get more excited than we were. Not to say that they weren't excited, but I think cut to this screening tonight was just off the hook.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
mean, I missed. I'm glad this wasn't the first time I'd seen it, because I would have missed 75% of the dialogue because the crowd was going just ballistic. Except for that one scene where Han Solo meets Kylo Ren, you could hear a pin drop. You could hear a pin drop in another city.
Yeah.
That's how quiet it was. And the press screening, you got like,
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm so glad the first time we saw it was not the press screening, because that just wouldn't have been a good experience. I mean, as good of an experience.
So, as somebody who's organized the line for the Chinese, why don't you tell everybody what your experience was like at the Chinese theater, at the TCL Chinese Theater IMAX.
Don't make that
which is one heck of a mouthful, but we will honor their request and spit out all the syllables. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys thought about your experience over here.
Well, for me, I was just so grateful that they put themselves out there, and whatever we needed was there. We had electricity, we had Wi-Fi, we had security. They gated off the whole forecourt so people could sleep, and people who are familiar with Star Wars Rebels and Tarkin Town, it looked like Tarkin Town. So I thought the theater went above and way beyond what I would ever expect a theater to do for a group of fans who are pretty much loitering on their property.
Right, and then as to watching the movie itself, great sound, beautiful visuals, and our seats were great. Thanks for getting those blocks of seats that you got.
Well, and the fact that you guys are bringing together people from all over the world, people that we hardly ever get a chance to speak to. Like, hey, here's Chris right over here, who I've seen your name come up 100 times on our show, but now here you are right here. And people who came in from Australia and got married.
Yep.
That's just fantastic. And people who didn't really know English, but people will still welcome them over to their cliques and, hey, let's get in here. And they can really understand what they're talking about by just the names or just the movements or just the excitement they would follow along with. So I really love the whole fandom aspect, which is something that's pretty much taken over really the movie. Now it's all about the fandom and who's doing what and who's relating to who and what, and making new friends that you would never ever get a chance to make if it weren't for social media. Now, how about you on behind the scenes? Was there anything that the theater did that you weren't expecting them to do?
Yeah, I mean, we really weren't expecting to be in the forecourt. I mean, we weren't expecting to be where we were. We weren't expecting to have the amount of support. When the experience from now versus '99 was dramatically different, at least from a theater level. And I think a big part of that is social media, because people hear what's going on, and the fan community is so much of a more prominent than it was back then. But in '99, they're like, yeah, whatever, those crazy guys out hanging out at the parking lot, they're not part of us. We don't want anything to do with them. Yeah, we'll sell you tickets, but that's it. So from behind the scenes, they were very welcoming, and and as you guys know and talked about, we were deciding between the El Capitan and the Chinese, and I think we've all said that we're probably going to go over to the El Capitan for some of the anthology movies. I think we're do the lineup for Rogue One over there, because they were equally friendly and welcoming and offered us a bunch of things. And I mean, obviously it goes both ways. The TCL Chinese Theater IMAX, did I get it right?
It's hard to say.
Got some pretty awesome publicity, and they certainly got their name out there a lot. So it's a two-way street. But they were very helpful, and it was a nice change from what we've had in the past.
And they arranged that whole wedding too, which is fantastic. But every single reporter had asked me over the course of the week, why? Why are you doing this? It's tradition. It is tradition that we've done since 1999.
So this is interesting, because I was thinking about this, and when I was one of the organizers in '90, I was one of the staff in '99. Countingdown.com actually organized the line, and then we formed LiningUp.net after that. So if you think back, and for some of your younger Skywalkers, they will not necessarily have the frame of reference, but in 1999 there was no Facebook, there was no social media, there was no Twitter, internet was dial-up if you were lucky. Nobody had smartphones, and being a fan back then was still not as accepted. I mean, you'd be sort of hanging out in high school or going, "Oh, I like Star Wars," and people would look at you like you'd grown another head, or you happen to bump into something going, "Oh, wait, you like that too? Oh, cool." And so, for growing up, being a Star Wars fan was not something that was socially acceptable. Really, it was something you kind of kept hidden down, and you had your few friends, and everybody else. You're like, no, that's geek stuff. Yeah, no, I don't do that stuff. And meanwhile, you go home and watch your movies. So then to come to the line and meet this community of people who liked the same things you did, talked about the same things you did, knew who Admiral Akbar was, and laughed when you said it's a trap. Now it's on T-shirts and on Facebook icons in your chat, but back then, you walk on and say, it's a trap, and people would look at you like you were crazy, and all of a sudden to find that community of people that liked the same things you did, and you could sit here and hang out in line and expound and at length about the characteristics of a super Star Destroyer. It didn't exist back then, and so I think that's, for those of us who were around way back when, that's what really drew us to that, and that's what wanted to make us to sort of recreate that experience over and over again, and that's been really nice. That even in this day of social media and being able to buy your tickets online, that we were actually able to recreate that experience in 2015. So that meant a lot to us. It was pretty neat.
Nice.
Right. You know what? Before we wrap things up, I just noticed that Andrew is standing right over here. You know what? Can I interrupt this conversation and have Andrew come right over here? We're podcasting. And we wanted to get a few words with you, and he is the gentleman that just got married today, and he's still in his tuxedo.
Yeah, I am, because it's just been an absolute whirlwind. Just busy with our photos. Then we've seen the movie. The movie, oh my goodness, do it. Just do it.
Now, you know what? Give us a little background on your story. So you and your lovely wife, the
old devil woman.
Yeah. What?
The old devil woman.
We'll, for your sake, we're going to cut that part out. So you guys.
She's got a badge that says the
devil woman.
Okay, well, as long as she knows that. So you guys came all the way from Australia.
We certainly did. 15-hour plane flight.
Wow. And now, tell us about the journey about getting married here, and the theater set this whole thing up, right?
Yeah, the TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX were very instrumental in helping us out with setting up for a wedding, getting things moving, and then we had a lot of people on the ground as well, a lot of close family, friends and adopted family over here helping out as well. So it was just, big logistical operation, and we made it happen.
So now, did they put names in a hat and they picked yours out? How did they pick you?
Well, the theatre approached the LiningUp.net group and said, hey, it would be really cool if we had a marriage outside the theatre. Do you guys know anyone? And myself and Caroline went, maybe.
So
ha ha ha. And then we had a few more chats, and then we said, all right, let's do it.
So, had you guys been planning on getting married, or were you just pushed into this?
Well, we were engaged for 8 years, so I was planning on getting married. Caroline was the one with commitment phobia, not me. So,
did you tell her that you guys were going to get married when you came here?
Yeah, definitely. She planned everything in 6 weeks, so she's a little trooper.
So now this is great planning on your part, because you had Disney buy Lucasfilm so they could make Episode 7, The Force Awakens, just so they could fly you guys out here and have you and Caroline tie the knot. That is some good planning on your part.
We try. That, it's all about just timing.
And now, what was it like getting married with this whole big bleacher section of media yelling things out to you?
Well, I thought, okay, 1 or 2 cameras. We can handle that. And then I came back, naive Andrew, when he first came down to the line this morning, goes, "Oh, cool, they're setting up an area for all my lining up friends to sit. This is awesome."
Right? That's what we thought too.
And then I went away, got changed, and on my way back down, I'm like, okay, yeah, 2 cameras, we can handle this. 2 cameras, that's awesome. I then came around the corner and went, holy crap, that was a media section. Okay, we can do this. And then I had a lovely lady who was more or less my media liaison for the day. Like, I had a media liaison, guys. Like,
you know you've made it.
This is amazing. So it was really good. She was just like, okay, have fun, guys. Andrew's going to do things with his friends now. No more interviews. See you. So it was really good. The TCL Chinese IMAX really handled the media well. So it was great. So.
Wow.
Now, were you in on the planning, or did they say, you know what, you guys just go wait in line, we'll do all the planning for you?
Well, actually, we were very involved in the planning with everything, and that was really good. And then so the last few days I sort of did all the groom duties and stuff like that, and so it was good. So the IMAX really. Sorry, the TCL IMAX really helped out with things, but yeah, we did great.
And then Obi-Sean right over here, he was the officiator. That's the right word? Officiant, yes.
He was
the officiant. Now, did you write your vows? Did he write the vows?
No.
Did you get them online?
Obi-Sean wrote all the vows for us. He's a little trooper. Obi-Sean, you're a champion.
A champion? I don't know about a champion, but, it was really my just honor and pleasure to be able to do your guys' wedding ceremony. It was, and the Chinese, so this was the first time anyone has ever been married at the Chinese theater. So it was a Star Wars wedding, which is awesome. We got to do this cool kind of pop culture ceremony, which was incredible, with all the movie references right there in the courtyard of the Chinese. It's kind of mind-numbing. You would think after the theater being 88 years old, somebody would have done it. So, we're all rock stars. This is amazing.
So I got to ask, how many different movie references did you throw in there? Because there was a gracious plenty.
Is it me, or was there one from Clueless?
There might have been one from Clueless. There was something like 10 different films represented in there, and I have at home, not the one that I brought, but I have a color-coded version that says, these references are from this movie, and it was Princess Bride started it off, and then there was even stuff we didn't even do just because of the environment. Like, usually it ends with And So Say We All from Battlestar Galactica, which we didn't do, and there's like all sorts of craziness in there. But I wrote it quite a while ago, and this seemed to be the perfect one to do it, and Andrew and Caroline approved it, so...
and you even did it in your Ben Kenobi voice.
I did. And honestly, I hadn't set out to do that. But
you're just wearing the outfit.
I get so used to being Obi-Wan Kenobi that it just comes out. And so, doing it in that voice is almost second nature for me.
Yeah, right now you're wearing your Ben Kenobi outfit, but when you're wearing your Obi-Wan outfit from the prequels, you have more of a Ewan McGregor cadence.
And that's the thing. Yeah, when I'm in this outfit right now, it's definitely more Ewan McGregor and a little more Scottish, and he's younger and cooler and better looking. So I try to err on that side. But then when I'm wearing the other one and I've got the older Obi-Wan Kenobi, well, it's more a little bit of Alec Guinness. He's slightly slower and more dodgy and kind of goofy. Well, and that's almost how I feel about the line. That has been my mantra for the line. It's like, I'm getting a little too old for this sort of thing.
Andrew, were there any surprises that you didn't know about?
No, everything was more or less sorted out and run really, really smooth. So, actually, I didn't actually get to see the ceremony, so that was a good surprise to hear Obi-Sean's wedding ceremony, so that was good. Good.
Did the bride not let you approve it?
Of course
Did you not read it?
Of course not.
Wow.
That is the devil woman. She is the boss.
I do like that you did offer to write your own vows, and that you figured it would take you about 10 minutes to knock that out. I thought that was a direct quote.
Yeah, it'd take me about 10 minutes to knock something like that out, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe when they came up with the term "her universe," they were talking about Carolyn.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Where is Caroline right now?
I think she's...
Oh, there she is way across the lobby. And you know what, Sarah, this is more up your alley. Explain to us what Caroline's wearing in brief.
Oh, okay. So she is wearing a white, I believe that is silk or satin dress, long, full length, and then she's got this beautiful stole. Yes, a stole. That is fur, the white fur, with X-wings that are rhinestoned in
That she
either
actually
side.
put on there herself.
That she did. Yeah, did she?
Did, yeah, and her shoes.
Yeah.
She made she painted up her shoes herself
Wow.
with a Rebel Firebird on them. The shawl was actually made by Caroline's mum. The only thing that's actually store bought on that on Caroline today is the dress itself.
Nice.
Everything else was handmade.
And then the bouquet is all.
Yeah, the bouquet is actually
It's like paper flowers.
yeah, paper
Etsy.
flowers, which is from Shakespeare's Star Wars and maps. So yeah,
Oh, nice.
everything's mostly handmade.
Well, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the dress sort of camisole has some thin straps, and with the shawl off the shoulder, it actually shows her tattoo really well.
Yeah.
So you get kind of she's all in white, but you get the color of the ink coming
Yes.
through, which is
And
really
the
kind of
green
neat.
hair. Yeah.
Yes,
The green
well,
hair is just amazing.
there's that. I didn't want to bring that up for fear it was a chlorine swimming pool accident. So.
No, that's how I spot her in shopping centers.
In contrast, you are dressed like Jedi Master Operances. That's a call out to our friends over there at RetroZap. Very, very nice outfit. And then at the end, the theater, the TCL Chinese Theater, gave us
IMAX?
popcorn to throw at you.
Yes.
I had popcorn absolutely everywhere. It was all over me.
Well, and it took them so much time to actually clean that up
Yes.
after the fact. And
Oh,
not
the
only
poor
that, but the ice cream cake that they had brought out for you guys, all Star Wars themed with Vader heads
it was
and
amazing.
BB-8.
Baskin
That
Robbins,
was
yeah.
incredible. But I noticed that the footprints had little puddles of ice cream melted
Yeah.
into them
Yeah.
after the fact. So that might not have been the best choice for that environment.
Well, LA's also turned on the cold weather for us, guys. So the air conditioning can just come up a few notches.
Absolutely.
All right, so now before we wrap things up here, where are you guys going on your honeymoon?
There are talks of actually going across to Celebration UK. So yeah, that'll be really good. And plus, I mean, the other great thing about this whole thing was that we raised some really good funds for the Starlight Foundation. Helping out kids and charity. That's what it's all about. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience.
Oh yeah, and let's give a special call out to the IMAX company. Is that the right IMAX company? Who gave $5,000 additional dollars to the Starlight Children's Foundation. Then they presented another big check to you and the lovely devil
Caroline.
woman Mrs. And they gave you another $5,000 for your honeymoon.
Yeah, that's it. So that'll be a great injection for the UK trip, or it could even be for the next lineup over this side. So we've just got to see where the next adventure takes us.
So will you be coming back? And we're now less than 1 year out to Rogue One. Will you be coming back?
And
in a
not
year?
only will you be coming back, but are you going to get married again?
Possibly not married again. I don't know how that would go down. But
Well, there's always the
definitely-
renewal of vows.
Definitely.
you
Oh,
know.
yeah. I never thought of that. See, man, stay out of trouble. But yeah, we'll definitely try and come back across for Rogue One, if not the new movie.
And can I say that when you mentioned there was less than a year before Rogue One, there was a communal groan from everyone who just sat through the line?
12 days.
Yeah, we are 1 day shy of a year.
Yep.
How about we just choose a date and we all show up on the same date to go see Rogue One and see it together? I'm a big fan of that. No one has to camp anywhere, and it'll be great.
No more sleeping on the sidewalk. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us for our Star Wars The Force Awakens Roundup. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in less than a year for Rogue One. Now, before we wrap up our very special, comprehensive coverage on The Force Awakens, let's play this rendition of the Star Wars theme as sung by Jimmy Fallon, his show band, The Roots, Daisy Ridley,
John Boyega,
Oscar Isaac,
Adam Driver,
Gwendolyn Christie,
R2D2,
BB-8, Lupita Nyong'o,
Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford.
Here they are, humming the theme to Star Wars.
Ah, that was so cute. Now, we want to thank TCL Chinese Theater IMAX, liningup.net, Rick Peralta, who I don't think we would have ever experienced all this through liningup.net if it wasn't for meeting him.
I don't think if his daughter, Eliza, had been chosen to go up on stage at Celebration Anaheim.
That too! Oh my gosh, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
wow. All right, we also want to thank Obi-Sean Crosby and the other organizers of liningup.net. I mean, they were amazing. They had to roll with the punches. And so great.
One thing that should be brought up every single time we mention them then is that they did all this for the Starlight Children's Foundation.
Yes, the charity.
Yeah,
absolutely.
fantastic.
And you know what? That charity drive is still going on through December 31st. So if you text the words Jedi or Sith to 80,000, 80000, that automatically donates $5 through your telephone bill to the charity.
Oh,
so do that right now.
It's $5.
Yeah, I've been doing it like once a week at least, since we started this liningup.net.
Yeah, it's the cost of a mocha latte at Starbucks.
Yeah. Now, we also want to thank the kind folks at Disney for taking us out of the cold and into the warm theater for the world premiere. And, of course, everyone who participated in our round table discussion.
I'm getting a little weepy-eyed now.
You are?
Yeah, this is the episode we've been building up to. And
little wrap-up? Oh.
Yeah, but you know what? It was very fun. It's very fun to share this experience with the Skywalkers who couldn't be there.
Yeah.
But now got to experience it through us.
Yes, and I also want to say, if you want to see pictures from our experience, I have written a comprehensive, what is this called?
Blog?
A comprehensive blog post on adventuresbydaddy.com of the Force Awakens World Premiere. So if you search that, you'll see it right away when you go to adventuresbydaddy.com.
And we'll also have other points of view on our new home, retrozap.com.
Yes. So please join us there. Now, if you like this show or if you want to comment on it, please get in touch with us on Twitter. We are at SkywalkingPod. On Facebook, you can search Skywalking Through Neverland. And by email, you can send us email, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com. All right, Skywalkers, what a journey.
It has been a great journey. And this is a great way to wrap it up.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, here's to episode 8, which I want to see right now.
Yeah. Well, let's go wait in line.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Happy holidays, and next week we'll do something around Christmas.
Yes, finally.
Wait, Christmas? The long forgotten December holiday.
Christmas is December 18th.
As
far as I'm concerned.
All right, everyone. Remember,
Neverland on Alderaan. Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Have you left an iTunes review yet? Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Segment producers are Dave Parfit, Dave Scale, and Norma Heitman. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant, Mark Ogashewitz. Technical advisor, Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators, Donald Wicks and Joey Pittman. Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, copyright 2015. All rights reserved.
Sorry, it had to be said.
This is what you can look forward to. My voice is kind of mad. Do you want to do it?
No, this is the big episode.
Yeah?
So yeah.
Okay.